It's time for a What's Up with Nora. Ooh, hey. What's up with that? Ooh, hey. What's up with Nora? Ooh, hey. What's up with that? I said what's up. I said what is up with that? I said what is up with Nora? Ooh, hey.
Let's fucking go. Let's go. I guess.
What is up? I just finished a bite of my cookie, guys, so it is a good time to be back in the garage right here. Thank you guys for showing up for this stream. I appreciate you. If you just saw me on the last stream, welcome back. If you're just watching just this stream because you want to see the incomparable Miss Laura FM, then welcome, and welcome to the people watching on replay. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. So tonight, Laura and I saw the same clip from MD Media 18, and we were like, holy cannolis, we need to talk about the man that Matt talked to that gave his full name. Because I'll be honest with you, if he had not said his full name in that moment, I would not have recognized him, because that is not the same way that I remember him. Okay. But we're going to talk about him. I want to bring Laura on. We're going to do a chit chat. Okay. So Emily, I'm just going to address this question really quick, Laura. So Emily, for people who didn't see the last stream, okay, don't spoil it. That's a thought pattern that I had. I'm not saying it's true or it's not true. I'm just saying the way Aaron told the story of what happened to Confident Chris, it made it seem like that's what he was implying. Okay. I don't know. The answer to that question is I don't know. And I would love to hear from Chris. Please reach out. Please talk to me. Let me know. But also my other question was, Emily, specifically to Aaron, to please don't leave us all hanging and let us know who's getting paid in envelopes of cash weekly, because that's important information. Also, don't tell stories like that. You confuse people. Moving on. Okay. I hope. Listen, Emily, no, I don't think it's disrespectful to allude that that's the interpretation that I got from somebody else telling the story. I recall that Chris lost a tooth, and that was horrific. And I also gave to his GoFundMe. So yeah, I don't think, I was saying that that's the impression Aaron gave me in the retelling of Chris's story. So if you want to have beef, go rewatch that again, and then you decide what Aaron's saying. Okay. But that was my interpretation. That's all, Emily. You can like it, not like it, whatever you want. That's fine. All right. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on because we have so much to talk to. You took a payout from 86. Well, thank you for being here. Scotty, thank you for being here and letting us know that. Okay. And no one, who got gifted memberships already? What is going on? Who's gifting? Verity just gifted 5 memberships on my channel. Thank you so much for that. David Fruckman, Hero Like Cody is here. Hi, Cody. Sinead Scholl was gifted a membership. Marcy Q was gifted a membership. Wendy Macbeth was gifted a membership, and 91 Me was gifted a membership. That's fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very generous, gorgeous. And if you guys are tuning in on Laura's channel, welcome as well, because we're broadcasting on both channels. All right, here we go. Guys, you can all push back. That's why, Emma, you're allowed to ask questions. It's okay. I like questions. And tonight, Laura and I are going to ask questions of each other, and we're going to get into what had happened. So without further ado, let me bring on the beautiful, my friend, Laura FM. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome. Laura, check out my new merch. Look at this. Look at this hat. It says what's up
What's
with Nora.
up with Nora?
That's right.
What is up with Nora?
What's up with what isn't up
So
with
if
me,
I
apparently.
didn't know you at all, though, if I didn't know you at all, and then I saw you somewhere and I saw that and we were in a waiting, I don't know, I imagine us standing in like Magic Mountain or
Like
Disneyland
Starbucks
line,
or
just
something.
really bored. And I turn around and there you are. And I'm like, wow, that looks like a kind of cool hat. You know, it's got the
Right.
human brain. And what's up with Nora? What's
What's
the
up?
hell is what's up with Nora have anything
Exactly.
to do? And I would ask, what is up with Nora? What's the hat?
Boom. What's up with Nora? Exactly.
And then boom, all of a sudden you're protesting just by talking.
Exactly. I'm always listen, I love when people especially when I am protesting outside, where people ask, why are you doing this? Or what is this about? You know, and you get that moment of education. But what cracks me up even more about that is when I'm protesting in Portland, more often people look at me and they're like, why are you standing out here with a phone facing this building? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just protesting. And I have to point up at the sign at Scientology. And they're like, Scientology has a building here. Oh my God. Like they get like, they don't even realize they're walking past the Scientology building all the time because they don't look up at the sign.
And that's part of the protesting. That's literally protesting. And also, no, definitely people can protest from their computers. There's definitely ways to do that. If you're unable to physically get up and take a lift or the bus or a ride or catch a ride with somebody to go 10 minutes or 5 minutes to the org, I understand that. But if you're
sometimes, I mean, it takes me over a half an hour to get there. I'm over a half an hour from my nearest org.
It takes me all day to prep for going out to protest.
Girl,
mentally,
you're in LA. It takes all day to get everywhere.
And I'm a rock star and I want to look fucking fabulous.
Yeah, girl.
At times I don't give a flying shit. Anyways, like right now I was like, ooh, I must match my red lipstick during this merry cheerful time of Christmas, where in 2025 soon to be, we will be able to still have our own decisions and make our own choices in life
for the next 20 days,
for the next billion years.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be 2025 is gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for a few things that are coming up. You know, and how
did you feel? Oh, sorry, what?
Scotty's like, people are like, did Scotty fix Laura's van? And then he's like, yes, her van is working, everyone. Her van is working. I can report.
Her van is working. You know why? Because he's so sweet and so he really, God, man, some when people get to know him, you guys are going to understand, like, dang, I understand why Laura also didn't want to be the person that's like saying, oh, how sweet he is and this. Okay, but he really is. He's so loving in the way that, you know what? I've always needed love. Like I always assumed, like, I'm just going to say, in the past, I've dated macho kind of bigger men, bear, you know, kind of ruggy little men, big men. And so it's like, but never have I actually thought, oh, okay, maybe this older generational like thing that I've resented for so long has some sort of validity to it, of like a man showing up physically and being like, I'm going to do this. I know how to do it and I'm going to do it because I care for this woman. And I don't even know if he's saying that. I'm just like, that is so, like how I feel. I'm literally like, babe, it doesn't even matter if I have to bring it to the mechanic after this or whatever. Like the amount of work he's put into it alone, even if he messed everything up, I would just be like, this is way too kind. Like, this is so nice. And he's literally fixed my shocks, my brakes, all like multiple vacuum hoses in my freaking thing that have just rusted away because the van is 23 years old and it's California and it's a desert van. Hello. And literally like multiple other things. I'm forgetting a billion things right now. And I'm like, it's fine if you didn't get it. Like, anyway, so when he's like, the van is working, what he means in his mind is he's not satisfied because he wants everything to be perfect and amazing.
Yeah.
And he wants me to feel so happy. And I'm already like, you did the shocks, you did the brakes, you did what else? Like, you've done so much. You did it like months ago, you did the freaking, you know, anyway. So like I was saying, I've never been so fulfilled, and he's not trying. He wasn't doing it to like make me feel that he loves me. I already know. I already know how much we love each other. And so when I'm doing this, I'm like, it's so satisfying. It's like, oh,
It's different, you
I
know, because
don't have
like
to always be so independent like I was at the
Yeah.
Ant Ranch and how I was enforced to be. And now I can actually understand what love from another person is. It's so sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because my wife is very, very supportive of me and has taken care of me in ways that, you know, like I've never been taken care of like that before. And she's very intuitive, just to me in general. You know, like I can't hide things from her. That would be like impossible because, you know, she knows me so well. Like she knows me more than anyone else has known me because I've been able to be vulnerable, you know.
And I
in that
feel
way.
like she's there for
yeah.
you. There's this like,
It's a different
like, it-
thing, you know.
yeah, I can't explain it. And
Well,
there's no
were
comparing
you ever
because
in a
it is way different.
Yeah. Were you ever in a relationship with somebody in the Sea Org or like with a Scientologist? Okay.
Well, whatever that means.
Right.
Was I holding hands with Ralph
Yeah.
West
With
when I
who?
was Ralph West when I was a CMO messenger and I was 13 and he was 15 or 14? Yes, I was. Did we kiss?
But like
and I was
even
so
after you
embarrassed?
left,
Yes.
after you left, did you ever have like a relationship?
I was married to Simon Carr when I was 19 and he was a cadet for a little bit at the Pack Ranch. And then he left late, like around 8 or 9 years old from what I recall from his story. He left when he was 8 or 9, still Scientologist, still and everything, but went with his dad who had a big ranch and everything out in Saugus sort of area where the cadet org was. So it felt very normal to him. And then he joined the military. So in my 19-year-old, not having left Scientology, not even understanding what kind of mindset I was in, I felt I was so free because I was marrying this like not so Scientologist who joined the Air Force. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that after you've left like the cadet org. If anything, you should be joining the Sea Org. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, so I just thought like, and he was hot and buff and all, like, you know, the ideal 19-year-old dream when you've left the Sea Org, left side and not leaving Scientology. We're definitely all still like the only reason I knew him was because of cadets, Jason Spallino, Catherine Spallino, all my really good friends that I either knew in the cadet org at the Int Ranch. Or I knew later on from my friends that I was couch surfing on, like Catherine and Plumey's couch. Plumey was at the Ant Ranch, but like all these couches of other cadets that knew other cadets, and we were all just in the same circle. When you leave the Sea Org after you're a cadet in the Sea Org for 15 fucking years or whatever, knowing these people for so long, you end up becoming friends with the people you leave that also left. Like when you left. So you're going like, oh, you have something way deeper in common together, whether you even really like the person or not. You're just more like, oh, cool. Oh, I understand why they would be at this party because they were an ex-Scientologist. Not even if they were invited. Oh, they're an ex-Scientologist or not even an ex-Scientologist. Ex-Sea Org. Like they're still Sea Org. Like it's definitely a Sciento low-key underground, nobody really knows party until you already know, until it's too late and you realize, oh my God, I have to be quiet. All my friends are Scientologists and I just found that out a year ago. Anyways, I don't know where I was going.
No, I bet at those places too where
Simon,
you try to like hint at it a little bit, you know, when you're first out, you're just like, so David Miscavige.
When I left, Nora, when I left, I definitely was not doing that. When I left, I was definitely afraid of everything, never thinking I was going to ever pay my freeloader bill. I just that's just insane. Like, especially coming off of fucking $30, $40 a week, whatever. I just never got paid appropriately. I was always in trouble. So I was always not getting paid. While I'm underage, just thinking all this is normal. I'm like, why are they so weird about a 16-year-old flying over, you know, on a plane? Like, why do they have to wait until I'm 18? Like, I just didn't understand anything. Anyways, long story longer. Married, 19, young. So that's the only thing. So
I got married at 19
weird
too.
For me. It was weird for me when I ever first even had sex with somebody that wasn't a Scientologist or that I didn't meet at the party at that random.
But you can see the difference though, right? Like even like I was married to, you know, obviously an ex-Sea Org member, ex-Scientologist for 12 years. What?
Oh no, Nora.
I know. Oh no. Who happened to also be a man. And the two of those things were mistakes. Burying an ex-Scientologist, not because he's a bad person, but we don't, like, as friends, I think ex-Scientologists get along really, really well, and we can relate, and we
Because
can
we
clash, and we
literally
can
speak. It's like
Right.
the Venezuelans that came out from.
Yeah.
They all, even though some are from New Mexico, some are from
Yeah.
Mexico, some are from Italy, but somehow the people that are speaking, Spanish or Italian, they all
they all
blend.
they
It's
all
like,
vibe. They all vibe, and
yeah,
we
they
vibe the
understand
same
certain
way.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of people sometimes might think me and Nora are loud and obnoxious, or that it's hard for you guys to watch us because we are so pumped up about our intense. Like, me and Nora like being intense. We like being like, and so when you interrupt us, we're like, well, then stop fucking watching us. Like, we're just trying to get it all out. And we're used to bouncing off of each other.
Yeah.
And not like when they're like, oh, you guys are talking over each other. We're like, we know. We're also like finishing each other's sentences and stuff. Like, we know what we're doing. We know it's like weird language. So sometimes I understand it could be a little difficult to watch us, but we got key information in
Hey
here.
man,
so
well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, you've hinted at it a little bit here, talking about your thing.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting when people like us, I'm just going to circle back to this one last point. When people like us finally aren't in the Scientology world at all anymore, and we're like, and by that I mean we're not partnered up with a former Scientologist or former Sea Org member, or like a combination of both, and we enter into all kinds of relationships with people who've never been touched by Scientology except for by our PTSD, which is unfortunate for them. But
it gives us literally a third eye perspective.
Totally, because then it's like that's when the real healing starts.
You don't have mutual outroots. You don't have
that. But like my ex-husband and I,
accidental.
we got each other out of Scientology because we slowly started. I mean, it's like when you live in your own home and you feel like you can't trust the person you're sleeping next to, who you love, who you've born children with, right? Like when you have that much distrust, you have to understand that's how much Scientology is in your head, right?
Right.
And so I, for like a year, didn't tell Cameron that I wasn't a Scientologist anymore. Like I was building all this up in my mind.
Oh, that's what we were getting to. So that's what I was saying. I didn't just come out and be like, oh, so David Miscavige, what do you think about him? I definitely wasn't like that. I was like, the first thing I typed in was like Jason Begay and the Lisa McPherson case. And that already led me to a bunch of other cuckoo-ness. And so I secretly, that's where I'm like, that I understand, where I'm like, I secretly for like,
where were you in 90? Where were you in 95? Were you in Florida?
No, at the Ent Ranch.
You were at the Ent Ranch in 95.
Oh, sorry. Yes. We left right before Y2K.
Okay. Yeah, because when I'd said this when I talked about Lisa McPherson on the anniversary, like I was at Flag while she was being held prisoner there. And we didn't know. We had no clue. We're fucking marching back and forth all around, downtown Clearwater, Florida, doing our courses, going inside that building where she was for the graduation every Friday night,
Yep.
We had no clue.
And the thing is people will have no clue about the multiple other cases where somebody wasn't screaming on the street butt naked. And then multiple times, like so many times, she tried to alert humanity, being like, hello, something's not right here. Even if I'm going crazy, or this Scientology is not right.
Yeah.
Something isn't right. And they're telling me not to do this and stay in here. And then got pulled out by Scientologists from the hospital. Like there's so much crap. And the whole time, who do you have running the case? David Miscavige, period, whether he likes it or not. Freaking Alon Kardazinski, who was the CS on the case, trying to steer the case in a way where she could get physical help first. That's actually what Alon was telling me before he died.
Yeah.
He tried. Alon is a guy. He tried to, Alon Kardazinski, they wouldn't send him to the RPF because why? That would prove that they were guilty and responsible.
He knew too much
by putting him putting him to the RPF for causing a PR flap. Not
Did they
because
just
somebody
toss
was
him out of the
killed.
Sea Org then instead?
No, they put him in. No, they hit him. This is what they're really doing in outside
Oh.
world perspective. They hit him at the hacienda and made him
Okay.
a dry cleaner, freaking auditing press slave that would literally do all the laundry of all the OT5s, I think, and above. I mean, class 5 auditors and above.
Guys,
Because
this is a
they were
person
the
who's
making-
so
they were
highly
making
trained.
the
You have
money.
no
He's
idea
he
the
was the
years he
highest
dedicated
paid.
to that.
Yep.
And now he's doing dry cleaning. Like, that's as if you have a PhD. Let's just say you went to school for all those years and got a PhD.
Beyond a PhD.
And now you have a master's, and you've got 3 different master's degrees. Okay. Let's just say you spent the equivalent amount of time doing that in the real world, in engineering, in astrophysics, and in astronomy. Okay. You have all of that. And then one day your boss comes to you and goes, okay, well, you're a fucking piece of shit. And now, even though you're a professor at this university now with all your degrees, you are now going to lick the basement floor with your tongue, and that is your job, and you are going to take it. And that's what they did. That's what they did to this guy.
That's literally what David, I'm going to keep saying this. That's literally
David
what
Miscavige.
David Miscavige ordered while the case was going.
While Mike Rinder was running the whole case.
While
Yeah.
I was running, while I was,
Yeah.
so this is years after I got demoted from CMO for flirting with Tiziano Lugli when I was 15 or 16
He was
as
cute.
a program top. Okay, and he was playing piano.
I know,
In
right?
a
He was hot.
sandcastle. And as a 16-year-old, I'm like, well, I don't think he is now, but that whatever.
He used to
I
come to
like
CC
big
and do the same thing and
and
flirt
I
with all
like-
the girls with the piano. That's
All
his
the,
thing.
every time. So
Every time.
Tiziano would constantly be flirting all the time everywhere. In fact, he would be pulled into ethics constantly
Oh, tutti flowing everybody.
Exactly. And people were now thinking about leaving the Sea Org because they were thinking maybe they could find somebody like him or him.
Oh, he was
So-
like, the girls were dripping off him. He had mad game. I'm going to give it up. He's out of Scientology now. He made a whole series of videos on the internet. So if you guys want to go watch them, like, you're a Scientologist.
Wait, Nora, before you give him all the props, can we just say, no, you pervert Tiziano, you literally were flirting with so many underage Sea Org members.
Well, I wasn't at the time,
And
but
as
yes.
a Scientologist and
Yeah.
as a public and as a Sea Org member, in that way, you are supporting, which we all believe, that
Yeah.
children were not children and that they
Correct.
were adults in small bodies. So therefore, I'm sure even in Tiziano's mind, even though he was in the outside world, it was still not
It's not
okay.
Tiziano, it's Tiziano. But I like your pronunciation.
That's not true. It's
It's the-
Tiziano. I've
it's-
literally had a fucking argument with him
Yeah,
about this.
but
I was like, is it tits? It's Tiziano. Tiziano.
Because
Okay, whatever.
he's Claudio Lugli's son.
Okay, I was going to go there.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Claudio Lugli's son, who used to do all of David Miscavige's fucking suits, his tuxes, and
So, yeah,
outfitted all
his
of Celebrity Center.
Yes. Yes. And so that is part of the problem, Nora, is
Yeah.
that because he had family members that were directly just making the uniforms for
Yeah.
RTC and David Miscavige
And us at
directly.
CC, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so then Tiziano is on celebrity lines.
Oh, yeah.
So
He
now
was a celebrity.
Tiziano is also recruiting and getting people who are Scientologists or not. Imagine how Tiziano is being used in a way.
yeah.
But Tiziano's liking it, right?
And he
'Cause
was a
at the
kid. He
time
grew up
he's
in
over-
Scientology too.
grew
You know.
Scientology, of course. He grew up in Scientology. So it's this normalization of why and how pedophilia and how borders and lines, which we'll talk about the Int Ranch very soon too, is
Mhm.
how border and lines of adults that quote are adults, but still literally think like an immature child at 14 because they don't know the legal system. They
Mhm.
don't know literally what is right and wrong, but
Mhm.
yet they're 23 years old and they should.
Yeah. 100%.
Because Scientology, because the Sea Org allows you to get away with breaking the law, breaking the law. They quote unquote do. They harass and stalk and will do anything to anybody bringing them to court to prove that they are doing that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they definitely when you become a Scientologist, let alone a born and raised cadet child that was born in it before you could even start thinking for yourself, literally,
Mhm.
physically, scientifically, not Scientology. It shows you why I literally fucking broke down when one of what's her name? Auntie M sent me a message and just said, "Oh my God, Laura, I'm so sorry. I can't even imagine how you must feel about that interaction with Matt. I'm not sure if you saw it, and she assumed that I already had." And I go, "No, what?" I said, "What?" And she just said, "Oh, he just uploaded a reel. He does these reels where because Scientology has been throwing a bunch of,
privacy strikes.
No. Like literal things where you mess up your actual visual on your
YouTube,
right. They're throwing out these things that interrupt and so it's just so sometimes he also doesn't want to get privacy strikes, right? So he's going ahead of time and being like, I'm going here and hey. And you'll bring it up. But this is one of the things where I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes. And even the fact, again, that Natalie, it's like just interesting. Natalie, this is why you need to investigate instead of just sitting behind your computer getting emails from people. You have to ask, why is this Dan Perbilski so fucking important?
Exactly.
Okay, we'll get there. And we should ask ourselves, why the fuck he looks like he has dementia and is old and crazy, and why is he just openly allowed to be walking in civilian clothes, guys? This guy has worn uniform for over 50 years.
Well, as you and I both, we're going to get into it. Let's play the clip.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up a clip from.
I'm going to play the clip, but before everybody thinks we're talking over each other.
Yes, ma'am.
This man, Dan Perbilski, knows who Megan Anderson is. He absolutely does know who Phil Anderson. Oh, that name sounds familiar.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. And then he says, will you let Megan Anderson? And he's like, oh, okay. Almost like his brain triggered. Like he was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Oh, this guy he was thinking, Matthew, MD Media 18. Thank you. Shout out to MD and Media 18 for going out there and having a channel. I believe it's called @Faces of Scientology.
Yes, that's the second channel.
Exactly. And this is so important because this channel is literally meant to spot people out that boom. I'm like, okay, so go ahead. I don't want to take over the whole thing, but
no, you're good. You're good. Okay. So I'm going to bring up. Yeah. Hello.
Faces of Scientology.
Hang on.
Hello. Well, you almost got it. You just forgot to share it.
It's the wrong screen. I don't know why it went to that screen. It's not supposed to be on that one. There we go. All right. So here we go. Here's the clip. Oh, let me I'm going to pull up my copyright thing. I know Matt's not going to copyright me, but anyway, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All rights and credit go directly to its rightful owner, MD Media 18. No copyright infringement is intended. All right, here we go. We got a security guard here, and then who else do we see?
Hey, that's on.
Wait, can you slow this? Is there any way, Nora, that you can slow this down?
Yeah, I can slow it down. Let me.
Literally, if Matt knew at this moment who this person was, he would have kept talking to him. In fact, he would have been like, "What? You were the head of the Int Ranch of literally 80 kids?" Or more over the last 15 years at the Int Ranch. You helped build, you put that all together. You were giving, there's so much.
Yeah. Here we go. I've slowed it down.
And wait, can I also say, so sorry, guys. One last thing. Put into perspective why somebody like this, who has had many years in the Sea Org, is a veteran, literally has the 50-year ring plus, because he was in the Sea Org way before he became the ranch in charge, which is the president or the head of the Int Ranch. He knows everything that went down with every fucking cadet there. Okay, my thing is, what is he doing in civilian clothes, walking casually across L. Ron Hubbard Way as if he's like on services or something as a public, right? And when Matt goes, hey, do you know Phil Anderson or whatever, this interaction, he's just sort of like in another world. Okay.
Well,
Like,
we're
he's
gonna
almost-
now.
And I
Granted,
wonder, okay.
well, let's watch the
I
whole
wonder-
clip.
I'm like,
I know,
so many-
I know you do. I know. Well, let's watch the whole clip, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So this is slowed down,
Going
guys.
slow. There he
Hey,
is. That's
sir.
him.
You know Phil Anderson?
That name sounds very familiar, yeah.
Okay, so
It looks like he has cancer or something. Not to be weird.
well, now I knew him
And he
on the
did smoke
RPF.
cigarettes the whole time.
Oh yeah,
that I've
so many
known him.
cigarettes. This man
Even
used to
at the
smoke
end
3 cigarettes at least
Yeah.
every meal break we
He
had.
he had the Liz Ferris's dad, Bob Ferris, cigarettes. You know, when they smoke so much and their mustache starts to change color. And at the ranch, he did not have a goatee or a beard. He had just a big, hate to say it, porn star match, like a mustache.
The stash, yeah. Okay, let's
Yeah.
finish up the video here because it's just a quick interaction.
He works
it's
in the
very-
galley. Or the cafeteria or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see him telling his daughter Megan Anderson misses and loves him.
Okay.
I appreciate you. My name's Matthew.
Nice to meet you.
Your name?
Dan Probilski.
See, so he says his name. It's very clear that he's saying Dan Probilski.
Nice to meet you. Have a beautiful day.
Okay, so I knew Dan on the RPF when we were running around the basement of that building and all these buildings here doing work. I worked side by side with him on. I'm just going to pull it back to his
Can
face.
you
here.
tell? Can you? What year was that, Nora? What
I was
year
on the
were you-
RPF between 2000 and March 2000 to November 2002. So almost 3 years total.
Wait. Whoa. This is so important. OMG.
Yeah. No.
Hold
Tell
on.
me.
So you were on the RPF for those 3 years, right? Did
Yeah.
he come on the? Oh, sorry. Did he come on the RPF before or after you?
I believe well. You
Like,
mean
when
did
you
he
went
get
there, was
busted
he
down from
already on
Int
the
onto the
RPF?
RPF?
No,
as
was he
part-
already on the RPF when you
I'm
were there?
thinking
when you got there?
probably. Because there was when I came on, there was already like 200 people on the RPF when I arrived.
From Gold Base. Did it seem like
that,
there was
that
okay.
happened while I was on the RPF. One morning we woke up and then we just had 100 plus more people on the RPF who had magically come down in the middle of the night, been bussed in from Gold and just hi Foxy and just like appeared on the RPF with us. So I don't recall if Dan came from that batch, but we were on the RPF together during that time period.
Okay, so this is super effing important. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, what year? My chat should know this. What year did me and all the other Int Ranch cadets get shipped off from the Int Ranch? The very end of 1990, before 2000. We were literally being shipped off, right? So
Right.
within a year after that, Dan Probilski is put on the RPF.
There you go.
Okay.
So then he must have come down from the Int Ranch, from not the Int Ranch, but from the Int group of people that came down because there was like I said, we woke up one morning and David Miscavige had canceled the RPF on the Int base. He didn't want to see them anymore. He didn't want to like be around them. They just wanted all the down stats off
Wait,
of the base,
Nora,
except for, of course, the
Nora.
people in the hole.
Nora, no, David Miscavige was never near the RPFers. The
Of course
RPFers
he wasn't.
Wait,
Of course he
wait,
wasn't.
listen to this. The RPFers were at the Int Ranch,
Right.
and the Int Ranch was a good 15-minute drive, which
Yeah.
isn't that far. But David Miscavige we would literally not go on the base unless it was like for a quick fucking security site or something.
Oh, sure.
Where he would have to come on and, you know, the security, gold
Oh, yeah.
and security.
Jackson coming out to give you some shit.
Yeah, Kevin Catano would be coming.
Right?
and- yeah, Jackson
Fucking
wasn't
Chris
there.
Catano.
Jackson already left. This was
Oh,
now.
right. He left in like 97 or
was-
something after Lisa McPherson, right?
Yes,
He left before 2000.
even
That's
before-
right.
before that. Yeah, and yeah,
So
and
the
so
Int
this
Ranch,
was more,
guys, somebody's asking what the Int Ranch is. So in California, there were 2 places where miners were held. Okay. The Pack Ranch, which was in Saugus, and the Int Ranch, which Laura has just said was like 15
Hemet.
minutes from the Gold Base
Gold
in Hemet.
Base.
It was partially on the tribal lands of what Indian tribe?
No, it was not partially. It was
on their lands.
100%, and they still own it. And it
Right.
literally makes sense to everything. And Dan Probilski, this guy you just saw, was the head of the ranch that would get called by the Saboba Indian chief
Thank you, Saboba.
directly, and
Mhm.
would tell they would say child CPH, child services is on the way. What would Dan Perbilski do? Call OSA, call security chief
Mhm.
RTC Kevin Catano, who's literally still doing security RTC right now,
Wow.
or is currently the head of OSA, which would come from RTC.
That would make sense if they made
Right.
Catano the head of
100%,
OSA at this
because
point.
he's
Yeah.
been doing it forever. He knows about all the kids. He knows about all this.
Well,
Kevin
and we-
Catano would get pulled out to the ranch when a child
Yeah.
was blown for more than 48 hours.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. I mean,
Not
what
just him, the whole squad.
Yeah. So here's the situation that you guys have to remember. Dan Perbilski is about the same age as my mom, which means he's in his late 70s. Okay, he's approaching 80 at this point. And he is probably at this point, they have several Sea Org members and they've started doing this more, which Matt has noticed. There's a lot of people that are in what we would call in our days in the Sea Org upstat civvies. Okay, which means it's like clean, regular looking clothes. So
Also, I wouldn't say that. They would always say upstat. They would just say civvies.
Civvies.
Civvies
Right.
is
If we went to an event, you had to be an upstat civvies. That's what we would say at CC.
Upstat is also good PR. Upstat means like keep your PR, and like for kids too, they would say upstat means your statistics are uptrending,
Right.
but for a child that's not a child and they're a cadet,
Mhm,
they say, well, you
mhm.
better be upstat. You better behave upstat. And behaving upstat is acting like an adult
Yeah.
and not
So-
a child.
Yeah. So those two ranches were disbanded in 1996 because there was no more children. Okay. I put that huge air quotes allowed to be born into the Sea organization. So from that point, I mean, there really weren't that many allowed to be born at that point. Yeah, in September 1996, the reason why I know that, they didn't close.
1980.
Well, in
L.
1996,
Ron Hubbard made the order. No more kids in Scientology.
Right,
Or David
but-
Miscavige. I'm not sure who
but
did.
but the official order came in September of 1996 from David Miscavige, where you could have a kid if you were in the Sea Org prior to September of 1996. But if you had that kid, you were sent on garrison mission. You and your spouse were sent on garrison mission to a class 5 org, which is like a lower than, it's not a Sea Org. And you were supposed to stay there until your child was 10, at which point you come back, all three of you come back into the Sea Org, because then your kid's old enough to be a cadet and start their Sea Org training for all three of you to come back in the Sea Org. A 10-year-old, a 5th grader, guys, is old enough to start working in the Sea Org. But then in September 1996, they came down with the official kibosh, no more garrison missions, no more babies being born by anybody ever. Boop, done. And then shortly after that, the ranches were closed. First, the Pack Ranch, and then I believe the Int Ranch, because it was too much of a liability. And I don't know what happened in Florida, but I know that issue came out then.
So let me tell you, Dan Perbilski was all up a part of this.
Sure.
It was the Int Ranchers getting all their sec checkers and all their bonds and all their contracts and non-disclosure agreements all signed. And we had no idea what we were doing. We're like, of course we're not going to give these SP out ethics people any confidential information
Of
about
course not.
and we're thinking like, how are they going to get to our pictures and anything if we're inside dorms? That security is like, what are they going to bust in just to get my
But also,
photos
did you
from the
think it was
Int
confidential where you lived, how you lived? Did you think that was confidential?
Yes, because Dan Perbilski fucking trained us to think that fire drill, intruder drill. An intruder was anybody that was on the base without permission.
Right.
Anybody that was on the base. So FBI, child services, they had no permission. Intruder drill. And we would literally act like as an intruder drill.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then they would say, okay, this is a PR drill. This is a blow drill. This is literally blow drills constantly in our chat. Blow drill is when a child, or in the Int Ranch, a child ran away, and
or anybody runs away. They do a blow drill. It's not just children. Like they did that at CC. They did it at PAC, everywhere. Yeah.
And so when we're talking about the drill, though, it was literally like even if it went all the way down to Megan Anderson and I was like a 9-year-old cadet who happened to be in ethics for that month or something, they would be like, you're on, you know, the goalie duty. We know how you hide shit over there. So go look and see if they went in that area. You know, they would have all the kids and the adults and the security of the ranch and the gold base security and the RTC security and all of that, because legally it is insane for I thought, oh no, finally a cadet is getting a little bit of attention from the aboves, which we thought was executives in RTC, not actual child services being like, we got to report. And then so half the time, I hate to say this, when we would blow off that property, that Dan Perbilski knew every detail about, he would literally see children. He would walk in with his cigarettes and he'd be like, oh, good. You still writing those over? It's good. Well, I'm proud of you. Walk out. Right. And it would be because a child just went out 2D and out 2D meant that child got raped by an adult and that adult now is on the RPF, but that child needs to sit down for over a week writing every time, place, form, and event over that they've ever committed ever. And
I know who you're talking
why
about.
they were privately
I know who you're talking about, and I was
doing that.
Let me just say something. I was on the RPF with both of those individuals because they were both RPF'd.
Yeah.
Both the minor
if they were old enough, exactly. If they were old enough to be doing that and being out, then they should be able to handle the RPF.
The victim of statutory rape was RPF'd along with her rapist. Okay. And I was on the RPF with both of them. And I only found out what happened to the victim when I was put on her 24-hour watch for several weeks while she was attempting to route out of the Sea Organization permanently via the RPF. That the fact that that man was not jailed for what he did still pisses me off to this day, because that woman, she is a woman now, obviously we're all adults now, but is a dear friend and I love her very much. And I think that man I think he passed away, her assailant.
I don't know.
You don't know if Doug died? I'm pretty sure he did. I would be shocked if he was still living. That man was a walking heart attack. But you know, I mean, like, that's why I was shocked.
Also, when I say that, there's
maybe we're thinking of two different people because there was more than one adult who did that.
There's three, but I was thinking there was this, there's this, there's this, and there's more. I'm just in my mind. I was thinking I was like, there's more. Anyways,
well, I was thinking. Well, I think he's dead. I was thinking of Doug Fiandica and his victim.
Doug Fiandica. Oh yeah, Fiandica.
But don't say the person's name.
No, I'm going to say Doug Fiandica, who definitely assaulted and raped and assaulted multiple cadets. Only a few or one or two have come out talking about it.
Yeah.
He was literally put there to handle his BTs, handle his fucking aberration by dealing with the thing he is aberrated about.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's one. That's one.
That
was one of the main ones. He was at the Pack Ranch Cadet Org.
Yeah, he was at the Pack Ranch.
Dan Perbilski would. So okay, let me. Since we're on the topic of the children, of the like kind of pedo thing. So anything that happened to any child at the Int Ranch was always notified to Dan Perbilski, that guy that MD Media just saw. Whether it was, look, I just want to do a shout out.
This guy right here.
I want to do a shout out to Erica. You super pup angel babe gave me this amazing light. Can I draw a heart so you see how cool this is, Nora?
Do it.
I feel like I'm on mushrooms while I'm like drawing out my plan to talk to you. Look at how cool this looks when I draw. Look at this. Can you? Oh wait.
It's all you, baby. You're right there. Do it.
No, I know. Look at this. Ready? Watch.
Yeah.
Look at it's like glowing.
You're drawing with light. That's amazing.
It literally looks like light. Anyways, okay. And so
it's beautiful. I love it. I love it.
I was like, I'm gonna write my to-do list. Oh my God. Okay. And then I was like, I could just keep it here for all my live streams so I can freaking stay focused on the things I'm talking about instead of going into a trauma freaking response. Like, and then did we get our answer? Nothing answered. Okay.
We're like, what were we talking about? Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I thought I talked about it all.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But
totally
anyways,
because,
I have on
yeah.
here, I literally have on here major points that
let's do
Dan
it. Let's go over your
Perbilski
points.
knows. Okay. Number one, Dan Perbilski knew all about every single hospital medical visit, how much it was, where they were going, how bad it was, if there was neglect from the adults, if there was questions from the doctor, what the questions were. He knew if there was any out PR
Mm-hmm.
on Scientology's side with the child.
Mm-hmm.
If any of that did happen, he would need to report that immediately to Gold Base Ethics, which then security, would be like, oh, why are we getting a letter from child, whatever it was. All this is run through security. Through that, security goes to Gold Base Security. The Gold Base goes to CMO Gold Security. CMO Gold Security goes to RTC Security. And then David Miscavige is alerted at the end of every single day of any major flaps, and at the end of every single week of any major flaps that he didn't need to hear about that day.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Perbilski was the head of the whole Int Ranch. He knew who was being approved to come to the Int Ranch, who, when, and who their parents were. He knew everything. He knows. We would sit on Dan Perbilski's lap and think, oh my God, we're so honored he's not mad at us, and we're sitting on the head's lap of the Int Ranch. Yeah. Dan Perbilski knew about every hospital visit that I was getting down to. Dan Perbilski knew about all the security drills, let alone enforcing them and being a part of them. He would be the intruder, and it was so fun. And oh my God, let's get all the kids involved. This is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Perbilski was the one who was doing all the tractor drills, running everything in and out. Dan Perbilski also would be the one that would show up to musters and yell and scream in the front of the whole group and say, knock it off.
And just remember, guys, that all the other residents of the Int Ranch are under the age of 18, and I don't believe any of them were his children. So he was just running other people's children who were denied access to their parents, and he would make them do hard labor. He would enforce corporal punishment on them, and do all these other sort of, like mental games to make them fear ever leaving that location. He was literally holding these children hostage, with Scientology.
Not only that, I don't know what his conditions were before coming to the Int Ranch, but anybody that I've been doing my investigations and my research on of adults that were at the Int Ranch, either have been to the Int Ranch because they did something severely bad illegally that it actually would be a huge flap in Scientology's world if the outside world contacted or got a hold of this person. And so they're hidden at the Int Ranch, where, again, social services and the outside authorities cannot go onto the property unless they're notified by the Indian chief. They have to notify the native Indians that own the land.
This was the loophole that they used to hide children, to hide predators, because technically you're not in the U.S., so you don't have to follow U.S. laws. Because you're on foreign land.
Well, and they have their own laws, and we don't know any of
this.
They should.
I'm not debating that point where the Soboba Indians are sovereign over their own land. Of course they are, but that was Scientology's way to do whatever the fuck they wanted, because that's why they were way out in Saugus too. Before Saugus blew up, it was like nothing. It was just desert, high desert area outside of Los Angeles.
But not only that, like, they did specific PR events, like having the kids do soccer games with the Indian kids, so that the Indians were more lenient toward the Int Ranch, because they were like, what the hell at the beginning? What is this Scientology school? They lied. They thought it was just going to be some private school, boarding school. No. And so they figured it out with Scientology. And so there was always this like not happy feeling, I guess I could say, with
Yeah.
the native people and the Int Ranch and the adults and Dan Probilski himself, right? So they had to establish good PR, and part of the ways they would do that is have the Indian kids come over on like a Saturday or a Sunday, and they would have this whole PR campaign, a big barbecue and all these burgers and hot dogs, and we would get it all from the Gold Base, and they would shoveling it on the van, and we'd cook it all out there. And it was only on Saturday all day renos that we would ever have a barbecue out there, is when the children were literally slaving all day long. It was from 8 in the morning. That's when we'd get our fancy little sunburn tans and patterns and thought that was normal. We literally thought abuse was normal and started like wearing it as fashion. Like, oh, look at this pattern I got from burning in the sun.
Right.
So it would be like, whoa, we got to go like at the end of the Sunday or for the other half the afternoon on Saturday. All we have to do is go play games and have good PR with the Indian kids so they were, but the parents and everybody are there. So it was like, it was just horrible because all the children are so not used to all these perfume smells and everything that.
That's not
when
ethics.
They came, it was like, oh my God, I can't breathe. It was so bad to people who never smell perfume ever.
No, deodorant alone. Guys, we were not allowed for scented anything. No scented deodorant, no scented shampoo, no nothing. We were just, the only scents that were allowed was cedar. You could, like, some people got away, and those were the
Vita was even a little too much.
Even that was a little too much. But like it was specifically from this one flag order where Elron goes off about, rose smelling things. Probably his Nana wore that or something. It was a traumatic incident for him. But you can't have scents because it interbulates people. It makes people crazy when the scents are there. So like, I'll never forget. Do you remember Myra? I can't remember her last name, but she had like super, super long brown hair, and she was an Int Ranch kid who I think came down. She was Isaac Hayes' goddaughter. Anyway.
She wasn't in. No, she wasn't.
Maybe she was at the Pack Ranch then.
Yep. I was like, nope.
But she once went on like Liberty and came back, and she had washed her hair at like her parents' house or something, who weren't in the Sea Org, with like Pantene, right? And it was like that distinctive Pantene smell, and it was like it filled the whole our whole crew dining, because that's where we did our musters, and everyone's like, who's got a scented shampoo? I mean, it was like a and I was standing behind her
you could turn
with
a
her wet
whole
hair, and I'm thinking, don't move, Myra. Don't move. Like,
don't move, because the whiff. They're gonna smell it's you.
They're gonna know it's you. And she got a talking to, because the chief off literally was like,
it's
like, and went around and found it, and I was like, oh my God.
And that's because, and the same thing happened to me, and the same thing happened a bunch with the kids. This is so bad. These kids, Vanessa Delderfield, Kalinda, and William Delderfield, who's not a kid, who's literally works at CMO Int or Gold.
Now still? Wow.
Still. And he's the one who books all the plane flights and knows and went, like, was, I'm sure, part of the stalking of Mike Rinder and finding the flight when he was going and come. He booked all the flights. William Delderfield, and he still does. He has the power and the knowledge, and has built up, I'm sure, a lot of flying miles. Anyhow.
But so you have to understand. We'll circle back to Dan here. Dan is.
I was going to say they're all French. Sorry, Vanessa, Kalinda, and William. They're all French. They go on an LOA for just a week, all the way to France, just for a week. To see their family, right, and whatever, because a family member died. And that's somebody died, it would be really bad if we don't go. They come back. Kalinda, Vanessa, the younger one, forgot English. She was just all up in the French world, and she was speaking French when she came. I remember I was like, or they were gone for like 2 weeks. They literally they forgot their life. They forgot, they smelt, and they smelt like the worst powdery fragrance, nasty fucking
very European when they get back.
And the grandma
is a leave of
Leaving,
absence.
which
Leave
was
of
stolen
absence.
from the military term.
Yeah, all of this stuff L. Ron Lafayette stole from his time in the Navy. So like all of our collectively, me and Laura, our memories come back with a lot of acronyms and terminology that was usurped by Lafayette and then made enforced on us in the Sea Organization in various ways. But Dan Przybylski, he knows where, now my question though, I wanted to ask this because it popped into my mind. Were you guys, was he armed out there? Did he have like some sort of defense thing for like animals and shit out there?
He had his own gun or guns or something in the Campbell house where the security guards would stay and some of the adults would stay. I think he had a shotgun or something, like just in case or something. Like the security guards had their own whatever at the Campbell house, and then the only other guns or anything were in the security booth. Yeah, and security had them, and yes, they had a display of at least 5 of them in their fancy little case. Where I was like, oh, those are the shotguns. But I also was like, oh, we see those shotgun shells all the time from the Indians because they would always be shooting. And there were times, no joke, Nora, we were literally standing at muster at attention and we were all of a sudden hear boom. We'd hear the sound and then ping, the shell landed, or the bullet literally landed right by us. And they were like, stop getting distracted by the sounds.
Yeah.
They're like, stand at attention. And we were literally getting shot at, or some Indians were doing shooting things. The thing is they knew to not shoot this way. They knew to not shoot in the way of the Int Ranch. And they did it because they didn't give a fuck. And they were just like, because we like stole their trust. We betrayed them by moving in and taking over their land, which I'm sure they're not very... And lying to them about it being a private boarding school. And then they find out it's attached to Scientology. So I'm sure they weren't happy about that.
Yeah. And now, just so you guys know, the Int Ranch and the Pack Ranch and all of the locations where children were housed and, basically held against their will for their entire life, those have all been literally demolished. Like they demolished it. They did it. I mean, they specifically did that on the Int Ranch location because the Saboba Indians were like, get the fuck off our land. But they also demolished, just for good measure, the Pack Ranch also to make sure that there was nothing. They sold it, but they demolished it before the sale went through because they didn't want any evidence of what had happened to the children. No physical evidence left behind.
And they took a month, like they took not a month, they took a year or 2 to do that. Mm-hmm. And it took a while because they had to literally demolish any evidence all the way down to paper receipts and magnets.
Auntie M, what buildings are still where?
The buildings are still there at the Int Ranch.
Oh, are they? They demolished the fuck out of the Pack Ranch. So
yeah, because it was so badly full of, I'm sure, pesticides and asbestos or whatever the fuck.
It was a hellhole. There was never a time where I saw a Pack Ranch kid come down from the ranch.
The Int Ranch was the best, Nora.
Yeah, and they were not dirty and filthy.
It was horrible. So, that's what I was going to say earlier is actually the Int Ranch was sent down after the ranch was closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And they did all the petitions. You know what's so fucked up? They made the kids at the Int Ranch and then eventually the Pack Ranch. They used the older cadets and some of the younger, the ones they felt were gung-ho and could really change the minds of some of the Pack Ranchers who were out of valence and clearly just...
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, clearly just... whatever, fucking off and not being cadets and being out PR and out ethics. They were just out ethics. So the kid, but the thing is they had the Int Ranch cadets and adults go on a mission to then go down after they petitioned and amnestied every child and every adult. They amnestied everybody at the Int Ranch.
Which means in Scientology, you're forgiven for all your crimes.
Maybe, but only if you're 100% honest and
write
in
them all down.
Full detail. Yeah, time, place, form, and event. You somebody has to see that you actually took your time to write everything, and you are not hiding anything back.
Right.
And even if like they can see that you clearly wrote so many nasty, possible bad things that you did or you actually did. That you thought of. I thought about
that. That's an overt.
I thought
That's
about
a crime.
blowing, and then I talked about it to a Sea Org member. You violated a policy. Overt.
Yep.
So that's an overt too. So not just regular overts, like, I cheated on my wife or whatever they would say. You're also your overts, all the overts that you did violating L. Ron Hubbard policy.
Yeah.
So they do this amnesty, right? And again, Dan Probilski also has to do his amnesty. They had the adults do this too. And that's what I mean when I said Mike Rinder, Guillaume Lesev, all these INT execs, the senior CS INT, Mark Yeager, they had DIG, they had so many people. They had Biddy there. They had all these people that that they put the ranch together, and now they're closing it down. They were all there asking these kids like myself questions that were all legal questions. Like, are you going to be okay? How do you feel about leaving your parents? And we're going like, oh my God, we might be leaving the ranch, like to join the Sea Org and get out. Oh my God. I hope they just, you don't want to say anything bad. You're like, I mean, I would miss them, but I'm so excited. I would love to join the Sea Org. Like, I would love
you
to,
can't say anything other than that, or you're in big shit.
Right. And so we're all going like this, and he's like, and and you're in front of these fucking executives that you've been like looking up to. Okay. Pause. This is so sidetracked, which is so weird because the INT Ranch was also the INT Ranch, INT Gold Base, anything RPF. I also there was times years before they were literally at the INT Ranch getting us all to sign petition and all this and making sure like, okay, we did the routing form. Look, even DIG was here, and Guillaume Lesev handled this case or whatever it was. Right. They not only that, oh my God, help me stay on point.
Yeah. What else were the security doing besides that?
No. So they know who is approved to go to Clearwater. They know when, but not only that, all of the adults were doing this amnesty, all of them. So Dan Probilski was still at the time in charge under the mission of Mike Rinder and everybody that came there. I mean, I feel like some of these times if we just sat in front of the executives and Dan Probilski and be like, well, Dan, don't you remember all the kids at the ranch? I'm sure he's gonna be like, well, of course I do. No matter how old he is. If he wasn't able to say, I don't remember kids at the ranch, you would literally know Scientology like fucking deletes people's minds or something, right?
Well, also, I mean, you have to realize that because Dan has been in the Sea Org, for over 50 years, his loyalty.
What is normal, Tim? Yeah.
Right. His loyalty is to the Sea Org. In the same way that I tell people, like, when people have signs like, talking about Xenu, they're going to have OTs outside that just say there's no such thing as Xenu, even though they've done OT3, which is the only reason they're standing outside confronting the protesters at that point, because they're the only people safe enough to not be affected and get pneumonia and die by reading the word Xenu, right? So Dan Probilski would absolutely 100% without hesitation or comm lag, say, oh, there was never any children at the ranch. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that job at all. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he would absolutely.
But like, I think that would get him in trouble though. And I think if he was trained enough to have been able to say what he said,
sure.
Just going to say this. I think he was being genuine with Matt.
Well, yeah, I think right now what I was going to say is that
caught Dan in a time where Dan was like, oh, I have to think about the past. He doesn't realize Matthew understands what the fuck is going on. He doesn't realize that Megan is a child from the INT Ranch.
No, because
he doesn't know that Dan Probilski knows who Megan Anderson is. No. If he stood there and said, you don't remember Megan Anderson from the INT Ranch? Right. He's like in a whole different thing. If he's a public here we go, full circle. If he's a public coming on L. Ron Hubbard, walking casually as if he was on a break, ready to walk into AOLA or something.
Right.
Right? He's coming from the canteen, the cafe. This is the norm.
Yeah.
This is what this like. If you aren't watching DOA stream every fucking time he's out there, or like people who are literally monitoring these people, they're just what they do. They come in, they eat their food because they're not allowed to not support the local cafe. And
no, you have to buy everything from the cafe. You can't go.
It's you're looked at a little negatively if you one time.
Go
maybe they'll let. No, or down the street to the local restaurants.
Right.
Even there are a few they might let it slide.
Owned, though.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like the I forget what it is. I don't even want to promote it. But it's just there's the restaurants around there are either bullied or controlled or have leeway to Scientology because they feel if they don't, they're gonna get kicked out or get fucking harassed by them. Which is true because that's what Scientology does. They protect their surroundings. They have a zillion cameras. They have communication fucking wavelengths. They do Wi-Fi wavelengths.
Oh yeah,
to get direct communications to people that don't have any wireless internet where they are. Somehow they have this wavelength.
Yeah, well, Jackson's talked about that several times where he set up that it's basically like a satellite hop,
and you can totally interrupt their Thursday before 2 shit. So I'll be working on that. I might just happen to be walking by with some aluminum balloons in a certain area, and it might just mess it all up. Who knows?
Yeah, but there's also what I wanted to say is that both Matt and Scotty have caught many elderly people walking into the apartments that are adjacent to the parking garage there that are right across the street from AOLA, from the Advanced Store Los Angeles. And I believe that a lot of the people that they see coming and going with their little suitcases and stuff, some of them, this is my hypothesis, is that some of them are not public, that they are staff still. They are Sea Org still. They are being made to come in and do like 5 hours of work a day. Okay. Because that's the bare minimum that they expect you to do. They expect you to come in and do 5 hours of work. They're probably working in the basement areas, doing filing or sending out letters to public and things like that, because that's a statistic.
And this is, I should move my mic here so it doesn't look like I'm like going off the screen to talk to you.
There you go.
Well,
we went over this last time.
I know, but I was going to show you some fucking pictures again about the Int Ranch.
Yeah. But as we know, like, okay, for example, I know that a deer,
so I'm gonna move it over.
They have 2 facilities that I can tell where elderly people are being kept. One of them is right there across the street because we've all witnessed
That's what I was going to say. I live.
Yeah, and then the second
I live,
one
and there's multiple. No, they have multiple buildings in the area where I live.
They have another one that's further down Fountain, which is like their hospice home, because I know somebody, someone that Aaron and I trained with at Flag, who's like our age, is in the hospice care for some terrible.
There's multiple people there.
There's
multiple people there. I see them almost every day.
Catherine Spallino's parents are there.
They were there, and if they are hiding them, they do a good job, or they got moved.
Did Catherine Spallino's aunt get them out?
I don't believe.
I don't know. I hope so. I know that they were trying to do that, but like they have all these buildings where they're stashing the elderly, but they still, because it's 2024 and they still do everything on paper, guys, they cannot possibly. There's no work from home in Scientology. I say that laughingly, but there is no work from home. You have to be physically there.
And not only that, some people's homes of people who have been in the Sea Org for so long, 40 years, like my home, if you like, people go, are you going home for the Christmas? Are you going home for holidays? You going home? Home is the Int Ranch. If you're going to talk about like where I grew up from age fucking 3 years old all the way until 13, getting shipped off to Clearwater, home would, I guess, be Hemet, California. Am I going home? No, I don't think so, unless it's to protest. But like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, it's like, no, oh my God, and I keep going back to Dan Probilski, and I'm like, Dan Probilski, they took somebody who's never had children. And, okay, I want to, and there's other things I want to keep talking about this. There's a few more points I want to keep talking about.
Go for it.
But but one of the things is to have somebody, people need to recognize this. Dan Perbilski was a Sea Org member long before he became the IC, means in charge. They're in charge of this. Like, you're the head of the team. You're the IC.
You're the supervisor.
Exactly. So I as a child, in my mind, I still can't get out of my head. First of all, Mr. P, we used to call him Mr. P, Dan Perbilski. His last name is very hard for a child and many a child's to all say. So they literally just broke down the names to Mr. P, Mr. Tab, Mr. H. Mr. H was Martin Habscheit, who was a German guy, who I don't know if a lot of y'all has seen the German YouTube channel that always puts out the footage from the ranch, and Martin Habscheit is the one who drove that tractor, that backhoe to park there in the middle of the street, so that they literally physically couldn't drive their cars to get close to even the front gate, which took at least a good another 5 minutes driving down the road just to get the front gate of the Int Ranch. Yeah. Right. So they blocked them way up on their actual land property, where they were just like even 20 feet onto their property. Yes. There you go. Thank you. German News. If German News is watching, or they somehow get this or something, Lara FM would love to finally do an interview with, the German reporters are here. We'll have to do a stream one day about what happened on that day. We would just say the Germans are here. The Germans. Oh my God, the Germans are here. Oh, like, no. Anyways, but when we said, when I would look back and watch old footage, like, what was the first thing you typed in? You said Dave Miscavige. I was like, no. It was Lisa McPherson, and then it was Jason Begay, and then it was German reporters in Ranch. Then I started going heavy on Ranch. Then I saw Woodcrafts. I saw Zoe Woodcrafts, and I just saw and I was like, oh my God, I recognize them all. And then I was like, is this the Woodcraft, one of the sisters that was at the ranch? And I was like, was Astra there with you? Or yes, she was there for the first couple of years that the Inn Ranch was there. So none of, like, Sam Francis came way later, like 8 years later. So he has no idea who that would have been. I didn't know Astra, but I knew her brother. Who's her brother? Flunk. Like Flunk for not starting. Thank you. Michael or Chris. I don't know. I forget. Like I mixed names now. But I knew him. I didn't know her. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, when I just couldn't believe because this is also, I was like, even as a child, I was like, wait, I remember the Woodcrafts. They were so nice. And I remember, like, at the beginning when we were younger, non-children at the Int Ranch, they would make us do art projects at the Campbell House, because the Campbell House, I guess, already had like art, like it had a ballet room. So it was already, which again, guys, ballet room. My mom did ballet. Matt Woodcraft. Thank you, Cece. So, Matt Woodcraft. Yeah. Matt Woodcraft. Okay. That's it sounds very familiar. I knew he had like one of those John, Dick, Harry kind of like, regular names kind of thing. So yeah, the Inn Ranch, the Campbell House had like a ballet room. So, and the bar, like where real ballet was done. So I'm like, the whole Campbell House was meant for security birthing, like the little dorms, but the big area was still open. They still had the piano in there, and they still had the ballet room, and then they had all these cabinets where all these art projects and old painting, stencil things that hold the portraits where you would paint. So it was apparently some sort of art place at some time, or somebody's personal home that was an artist or something. Remember, the Int Ranch was owned by the owners of Campbell Soup, the soup company. Okay. And so that's what, now you're interested, Nora. And so the Campbell House is called the Campbell House because that's where the Campbells lived. See, I never knew why it was called the Campbell House. Like, I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's
I think they
fancy.
also were like I think there was maybe something in some kind like, oh, you just can't burn down or take down the Campbell House. It's like almost like a momentum or whatever they say.
Mm.
And so it was always like a scary, like not scary, but like, ooh, I'm at the Campbell House. Even if you were outside the Campbell House, like doing PVC piping for sprinklers,
Right.
you still felt like, ooh, I'm like where like we were literally like, oh, this is where they hold, you know, children, cadets when they're being out ethics and psychotic,
Right.
or when they went out to the, or when they want to leave the Sea Org. So,
Right. It's
because
it's a scary place.
It's scary, but then it was fun as fuck because we also had our Halloween parties there when we were younger. As we got older, they started to merge to no more fun and more work.
Yeah. And
But-
Mandy, you're correct. It's a historical site. It's a historical site because of the Campbells
Thank you.
owning it. That's the word we're
Yes.
searching for. But yeah, it's
I
interesting. Well,
struggle with the
Scientology
word.
has a penchant. Let's just use a big fancy French word there. For buying historical landmark buildings on purpose because then they can never be moved from. We shall not be moved from this spot. And then they get all the rebates, guys, because when you own a historical building, you have to keep it in the period with which it was built, theme. You can't alter it. You can't do any of those things. But you also get kickbacks from the local government because then once a month you have to open your thing, whether it's your home that you're living in or whatever, to public tours. That's the rules when you have a historical landmark site, right? So like Celebrity Center now is been registered grotesquely as a historical landmark site because the Chateau Elise in its heyday was a haven for the golden era Hollywood celebrities. Clark Gable, blah 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 blah, all those kind of people stayed there when it was a fancy pants hotel being run during that time period. And then for a long time it was just like a druggy house that got run down, and then Scientology bought it in the 70s and slowly fixed it up with their slave RPF labor, and there you go.
Right there, right before they bought Celebrity Center, where they did have Celebrity Center, was on La Brea and I think Beverly or something. And then the housing of the staff members and the Sea Org members and the random people that were coming from Canada that were pregnant, like my mother with me in her, was in 1986, obviously, because that's when I was born. But so 1985, right?
Yeah.
So give or take around there. And they had bought the Wilcox, which is now called the Mama Shelter Hotel, but they called it the Wilcox. And that's where all the Sea Org members.
That's where I lived.
Dealing with, exactly, celebrities that we owned the whole building at the time.
Yeah. It used to cost 10 cents a night to house people at the Wilcox. 10 cents a night per head. Cost nothing. Not 10 cents a night. That's how much it cost them for the water and the heat in that building. Because there were so many of us in each room. So 10 cents.
Oh, and then also them putting us on a regular repetitiveness of like, hurry up, don't waste the water, you're wasting, other staff members are coming, don't use
if you
up
got
all
at the
the
end of the
water.
showers, freezing. Like fucking ice bath.
You ruined somebody's friendship a little bit. Like they liked you, they've been like you, but now they went in last, they went in fifth or fourth, and for some reason they got the lukewarm or the cold. And they're like, I needed a shower, dude. I just worked all fucking day.
I took cold showers for 5 years.
Ugh.
I just took the cold shower. I just did a cold shower for 5 years.
Maybe that's why I freeze up. Maybe that's why I freeze up. There's a time, like I'm in the tub. I do this like, there's a stupid setting with my like shower where like if I'm in the tub and I want to convert it to the shower, the pressure, the heat or whatever that I've had in this beautiful tub isn't somehow going back up. It's like cold water is shooting first, no matter what. First the cold water. And so I like have to like, I'm like, I pull it up and then I like hide under the and then I think I have restimulation because I feel like I'm like, oh no, it's that feeling of being like, if you know, you know, when you're being
Yeah.
forced to take a cold shower and you're expecting a nice warm shower to get rid of your grease, and then you have to take a fucking cold shower and it's cold outside and you have to be outside for muster.
Yeah.
And you know now this is the 20th time you've done this. You don't want to show up late for muster, first of all, because you're going to get dunked with a cold bucket of water on your head, or you're
Yep.
going to be enforced. There's so much negative things about thinking like it's okay to be late. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to be late. Not even a second. People are literally like running. Kids are like running as fast as they
Yeah.
could just so they could be like, citizen, report who's here. And they're like, I'm here.
Yeah. No, you're terrified. Muster is
Yeah.
terrifying. Morning muster was
Oh my
like the most
God.
terrifying time. I remember one time because Claudio Lugli, I'm just going to bring him back up. These fabulous pants that he designed for us. We, of course, got the cheapest fabric possible version of what he showed us. The luxury one, it was going to be too much. And then I don't know who the fuck sewed these things, but I came in and I was eating breakfast and I go to sit down to eat, and the entire crotch of my pants, because I gained like 3 ounces, you know, you're not allowed to
Yeah.
eat in this organization. So my entire crotch split from the end of the zipper all the way up my ass. And you don't have spare clothes with you. You don't, you
This
have your
happened
uniform.
to me.
I
It's
already
not just
walked.
Nora.
Yeah, I already
this happened
walked
to me.
from the Wilcox, which is like 2 miles through Hollywood to get to fucking work. And now my fucking pants have split. So I leave breakfast. I throw like 3 things in my mouth. I leave breakfast. I go into the little, like, I go
Wait,
to the laundry ladies, and I'm like, please tell me you have
Quickly eat.
some. Yeah, I just threw things in my mouth. I don't even remember. And I went into the laundry
And then
ladies. I was
you're
like,
holding,
please
like, I have to
give me a
go.
needle and thread. I said, look what just happened. And they're like dying. They're fucking laughing. They hand me a needle and thread. And so I'm in this little bathroom area with no pants on. Okay, without my uniform shirt.
Sewing.
I'm fucking Donald Ducking it, trying to sew my fucking crotch up. And then Weege Anderson, no relation to Laura, Weege Anderson comes in and is like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr." And I was like, sir, I am sewing my pants. Look at, I can't wear this. It's out here. You have 5 minutes to get upstairs and get on post. I've got like 3 stitches in. I'm like, 5 minutes? How the fuck? I don't even know how to sew that well. I'm just trying to fucking,
you
you know.
became the sewing machine.
basically, like, it was insane. And then I have to go
Buy your
see,
TRs in.
yeah, I have to go see Dennis Young at my first
Oh my
break
God.
to go say, hey, Dennis, listen, my pants just split and I had to sew them, and it's like very ghetto and it's not going to probably hold because I'm not a seamstress and shit, but can you get me some more pants? And he's laughing, and then he's like, okay, I'll get you. So that's legit. Your pants split. Like, we'll get you some more pants. Like, otherwise, if you wanted uniform parts, you weren't getting them unless it was like, you know, someone had torn them from your body. Otherwise,
And
just
it was
make it go
obvious.
right. Yeah, make it go right.
Literally. And that's a huge thing. That is a huge thing. It was just like, well, like, in fact, it wasn't even just make it go right. It was you're out PR. You are out PR if you chose to
Yeah.
go on post with ripped pants.
Yeah, or ripped
And-
pantyhose
Or
anything.
anything. A
And
fucking
also your
tube.
PTS. Why would your pantyhose rip unless you're PTS? First of all,
What
they're
were you doing?
pantyhose.
What did you do to pull it in?
Right. What did you do to pull in your pantyhose ripping?
You know what I did? I'm wearing the same recycled pants of 5 Sea Org members, and I'm
Thank
more
you.
active and young and getting a lot more done. And all of a sudden, the fucking pants ripped when I was motherfucking carrying some file boxes. You cunts. What the fuck? It's literally like, and that happened all the time. Not only that, you have to get a PO order. You have
Right.
to get
A purchase
order
order.
before you can even speak to the uniform person. Well, if you want it, then you have to get a purchase order.
I know.
You better ask for
Dennis,
a purchase
R.I.P.
order.
to Dennis, because I believe no.
Wait, what was it? The three thing purchase order. You have to show the 3
Yeah.
quote person. You have to show them that you did research, which people
Yeah.
are like, what did you do? They just copy somebody from 1990, literally, because they're like, I don't even know how to get a 3-person quote on printer ink. I'm not allowed to go on the internet. So they just go, the Tresec approved and said that this is the one that Scientology is working with
Yeah.
right now. That's
I'm
literally how it
laughing because this is so accurate, but I'm also laughing because there's a great debate going on in the chat right now about
shit.
how to make a tuna salad. Okay, and Gin and Tonica
Wow,
is
this
very
so
upset
rude.
that people put mustard in their tuna salad. I'm just gonna let you guys know when I make tuna, in it goes mayonnaise, of course, Dijon mustard. Thank you very much. Horseradish, garlic, onion powder, paprika, and what was the other thing I put in last time? Of course, salt and pepper and celery in there. So that's how I have it. But it was just distracting. I'm seeing all these people talking about who puts mustard in tuna, and then Gin and Tonic is like, I like a clean tuna salad. And we're talking about real shit here, and you guys are talking about tuna salad. All right, sorry.
But they're like listening. They have split brains.
No, I know.
So they're
I know.
listening.
They're
to
listening.
us, and they're hungry, and somebody's making it, and so they're like annoyed. But you know what else you're missing in that motherfucking tuna salad?
What?
Thin strips of like dill pickles. Oh
yeah, I do. If I
stop.
had pickles, I cut them up a little bit. I mince them. I mince the
That's
pickle
what I mean.
and put it
Little
in.
pieces, little
Yeah.
slices of.
Yeah, you gotta
little
have a good. Personally,
Oh.
Bubbies. If you haven't had a Bubbies dill pickle, that shit is so fucking good. Bubbies.
Marcy says, "I want to try your tuna salad, Nora."
Hey, let's do it. I'll bring it.
You
I'll
guys
bring
are
it.
very sexual. Even when you started your stream, Nora, I mean, I think you need to loosen up more. You're allowed to troll on the trolls, especially when you're good friends. We're like, hey, Nora, stop talking about fuckface. And then what the great thing is, though, is if you're going to be an adult about it,
Yeah.
then great. If you're not going to hide it from the chat, then great. And now it's actually like, oh, okay, now we can handle this because Nora's actually being real.
Yeah.
Anyways, and it's actual evidence where you're moving forward, where you're not
Right.
going to let somebody keep harassing you, and you're not going to
No.
let them literally put you in such a fucked up position. Nora, there's nobody out here. Well, I think even for me, I'm sure people still hate me. Whatever, go fuck yourself. During the whole 6-month thing, like 6 months ago, everything was nuts and upside down,
Oh, yeah.
inside out, and somebody took the whole thing and shook it, right?
Yeah.
Still to this day, I'm still like, who gives a fuck? Like, here's the thing. That person was still doing this, and they did throw you into so many loopholes. And guess what?
Yeah.
You literally came out of them, and now you can see when you know what's so great? I've seen you do this. Is now you can see when that person starts to try to use the things that he thinks he knows he's got you so well on. He tries to use them against you, and you literally are like, no, okay. So yeah, I used to get reactive by that, but I don't anymore. But the fact that you brought it up just shows again that you're not running me down on this path where you're allowed to do this anymore. So I just love that. And for me, I'm like, even as your friend, like most friends that would want to support anybody on any of their channels and be like, hey, babe, well, maybe you shouldn't do this or da-da-da-da-da. I would be like, I would have before said, hey, don't fucking do that. Don't interact with this actual disgusting human. Like, don't interact. Yeah. I would even call him a clown, but there's some clowns I like, so I don't want to relate him to anything I like. He's just such a disgusting negative person, and he could have taken, and actually, I don't even think he still can, but he could have taken a whole different route in his life. And the fact that he's chose to do and continue to do all the things he's been doing, and then we keep finding out all these little pieces of information. It's like, no, you're darker and deeper, dude, than you fucking think. And so
it's why it's just the whole thing is wild.
The narcissism also thinks he's not going to get convicted for the shit he's been doing. And it's like, well, a judge has seen people like you. A judge has seen and heard people who think, hey, and they see what you're doing, dumb fuck. Yeah. They literally see him planning and putting on a whole thing.
And there wouldn't be any counts.
They see psychopaths and rapists do the same patterns as well.
But also there wouldn't be any counts from the district attorney's office. They wouldn't have brought any counts if they didn't think he did something wrong and there wasn't evidence to
yeah.
prove that. Do you know what I mean?
I was in the court. I was in the court, and I
right. No, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like this
But
was what cracks me up about him is like this isn't a civil case where he's being accused by the parties who are accusing him.
That he can manipulate the judge
right
in this time because the judge is dumb fuck didn't even say this.
Yeah.
The judge doesn't handle criminal. You idiot. So
Yeah.
like even if you suck the judge's like crotch or whatever you would want to say, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't work because she doesn't do that. And so he's like preparing a whole case for this. Like, no, honey, you actually show up
at the criminal court
and own your and he's gonna have to see his shit. Or he's gonna have to show up for sure on screen and then have his lawyer for sure show up in person.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't think there's theories. I mean, does he have a lawyer? Does he not have a lawyer? Is he the lawyer? What's happening?
Anyway,
Nobody knows.
Let's not get sidetracked. Let's stay on Dan Perbilsky here.
We'll stay on Dan.
We're
We'll stay
very
with one criminal right now.
Okay, yeah. This is what I was saying. I'm very excited though, Nora. You know, I was saying in the past I wouldn't have wanted you because I could feel him just like I could feel him like when you go like, oh, I gotta talk. I was like, oh my God, Nora's just like really fucked up in this. And the thing is I was seeing it from another view where this man has done this to multiple people that I was close with or friends that I knew. Like not like friends that I was close with, just friends that I knew. And I was like, yeah, they're a good friend. And he was harassing them because always they were doing something that was showing a dark side or a not good side or a very legal, unethical side of Scientology. That's the only time he's ever come in or even been on the radar. It's because of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to make it about that, but I wanted to go back to Dan Perbilsky. There was a whole full circle. Oh, that's what I was saying.
And
I
Cece
love
also
being
said,
able to bring up all this crap with you and be open, and I can feel that now. You actually should have been the person, not to bring up Aaron, but to bring you should have been the person that did jump on that live stream. And maybe actually I take that back. Maybe you would have been like, you fucking liar, blah, blah, blah. Like in the same sense of like, if you're under a defensive, narcissistic, like friendship or relationship, you're going to lean in a way that's not in your light and not in like trying to heal and make it good and easy. Like, and so, yeah, we make mistakes by trying to be friends. And that was part of a problem with Scientology and being so friendly and loving when you did leave Scientology. That's where we're getting full circle again. When people leave the Sea Org in Scientology, eventually you leave Scientology, but it takes a long time, a minute, meaning like 5, 6, 7. I think the real time is like 8 years before, as long as you're open and talking about it. So I feel though now that speaking open and talking about it, the way that you talk about it is more open and more, you do have a back. You do have a legal protection. You do. Because you didn't ask for any of this. You never have. And Nora, will put this on the record. I have never, ever interacted with that human being in any sort of way whatsoever.
Oh, me neither.
The only time I've ever known him. No, not even talking on streams. And yes, you definitely have, Nora.
Oh, you're talking about that. No, I just mean, I meant
you allowed him in your chat for so long. And I can't believe
he was in my chat.
It was like you were torturing yourself. And it felt like you were in this here, like, oh, I need to fix this. No, I'm going to confront this SP. No, stop. He's literally a dark hole. And it was just like, stop. But the way that you bring it up now, where you're not sitting here going, and Tony, you did this. It's like more you're going, no, you're breaking down every word in a way where you're like, where you actually have a protection, and you definitely have a chat and judges that have already, showed some end of Scientology and their lawyer system, like trying to attack protesters and bringing them into courts for all kinds of fucking reasons. Yeah. And it's like, you already have a system that actually is protecting you, Nora, and you've done nothing wrong. So you must not like even divulge any more in this, but only use it as evidence to show the mindset of this person. Yeah. And what you're doing. And so it's great. And so, and the way you do it is it's more, it doesn't ruin, doesn't end or start your day. It's just kind of like,
Oh, no,
okay,
definitely not.
you divulge in it now, and I like that, and it's funner to watch, and therefore, but still on my channel, it's all blocked. Nobody brings that fucker up in my thing.
Oh no, I know, and I thought that I had blocked him like fully, but apparently when he came in the chat and then did that whole thing, and I was talking to him, he was only timed out for 24 hours. So I didn't realize that I hadn't like put. I thought for some reason I thought like when one of my mods like banned somebody that they're permanently banned, but he didn't get permanently banned. But I did that now. He's not here. So because part of it though too, I mean, like what you correctly said is that like I do have to protect my mental health and protect my
but also be
everything.
aware of all
But-
you need to look, and this is dumb information for somebody who smokes weed and drinks alcohol, but like I'm just saying, like, be more in that mode. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? You're a good person. But also, this is somebody who has chosen to learn how you think, what you like, what's going to piss you off. This is literally somebody. And also in Scientology, we always felt like, no, we need to handle this. We need to end this. We need to make sure this person is put into real justice.
Yeah.
And we're kind of doing that in a defense mode of what we were taught in Scientology. And so I want you to just understand that. And this is as light and fun as I'm going to say, is that just keeping you in your fun comedic way. But don't literally, when it starts to get evil, where he's in your family, this like, screenshot and then move forward. And you can even show a judge like, that's it. I stopped even saying what the comment was. Like for example, he came into my chat on a weird thing, some other fucking thing, right?
Sure.
While I was doing Artology, some random dumb thing, or I don't even know what it was. He just came in and I was like, and Ashley, yeah, that's right. I was with Ashley and she always holds my camera. So like I can just be in my Artology zone and she loves it. But and she was like, oh, look, and she's smart. And she just she was like, oh, hey, and I was like, yes, darling. And I was like, oh, and she like showed me and it was just him commenting like, oh, none of you protesters are gonna, none of this is gonna do shit. And you're all just pathetic and whatever. Right. And instead of anything, I was like, bitch, never in my chat. And normally I do put dumb trolls up on the chat and say, bye, bitch. But for that one specifically, I was like, I really was like, this comment should have never shown up on my thing.
Yeah. No, 100%. So, I mean, he's, I literally now I'm just documenting. Like I'm not, I'm documenting for evidence. That's it.
Good.
Like
that's
because
what
everything,
I mean. That's
everything,
that's what I see that you're doing
in a court.
100%.
Yeah.
And but I need you to like not be too happy about that. I think that that's where I'm getting at is you don't need a fight at all anymore.
No. I'm not celebrating someone's demise or something like that. I'm happy that he's providing so much evidence for all of us who he has spent time speaking.
But is it not relieving you a little bit? It does 100%. Relieve you a little bit. And that's where I'm going to say, that's where I'm going to say we understand that. We understand that it may feel like, well, I feel fucking relieved and blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, you are... You know how to be composed and you know how to actually play a poker game right and just not even stress yourself out and just go and just like good collect and that's it. Yeah. So on that note, let's not talk about it anymore.
Nope, done. Okay. Yeah.
So back to Damper Bilski.
Let's go back to Damper Bilski.
So the things that so guys, remember that cadets, like you said, Nora, everybody at the Int Ranch was literally an adult that was put as an adult from being a child at the ranch and then became an adult, or they were a minor under the age of 18.
Correct.
And that's the main point we're saying here. Every person ever to come through or be on that property was somebody on the RPF. They were a underage minor, or they were a minor their whole time and then became an adult, or last but not least, but to be very clear, they were put on the Int Ranch because they did something criminally wrong or illegal as an adult that they could be legally charged for, or
Correct.
they had parents looking for them, which we'll get to in a second, or the adult was being punished and they effed up and messed up something so bad that David Miscavige himself says, put him at the ranch and, you know, put them on mesh work and make them become an adult there because they're never going back to the position that I never can trust them on.
And that was the same thing with the Pack Ranch. Adults who are assigned
for
there as nannies or as like the in-charges, it was the same situation. They were put there because it was a form of punishment in the Sea Org. That was a huge demotion to get put at one of the ranches to watch children. That was basically, you were so incompetent and so terrible at your job. Why don't you just go watch these children if you can manage that?
These young idiots, because you're an idiot. Like, that's what it was. You're an idiot. You're going to the Int Ranch. Even Mark Yeager, Guillaume Lesevre, they were on the RPF privately at the Int Ranch. And I remember being in the governance group running wherever we go because we were mimicking the RPF.
Right.
And so I was running by, and I remember seeing Mark Yeager and they were digging trenches, and senior CSN digging trenches and I was like, and they were wearing the RPF uniform, which was white shirt and blue bottoms, whether that was, you know, so I just knew,
It was a gray shirt and
RPF,
black bottoms.
Yep. In the Pack Ranch. Eventually my dad, when he was down here, him and my uncle, my dad's brother, Paul Anderson, they were wearing gray shirts and black pants. But anyways.
Right. Also, somebody just asked
there?
what the RPF is. That stands for Rehabilitation Project Force. It's basically the work labor camp, force work labor camp that Sea Org members are sent to as punishment for various crimes, quote unquote crimes, in Scientology, to rehabilitate themselves and another back to, you know, shiny happy pennies to go be other labor inside of the, you know, non-existent space navy that is the Sea Organization. Okay. So let's finish your points on Dan here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So Dan Perbilsky was the head of the Int Ranch, from what I know of, because I was there from 1990 until I left 2000. Okay. So he went on the RPF, not months or a year, not even that, since when you were on the RPF.
Yeah. So he came down with the Int peeps.
Right.
On
so
the bus
he
ride.
knew everything about all the security drills, all the train drills. If somebody came on, they were asking questions. You got to keep the frame of mind of, you know, keeping the PR in for Scientology, and you got to answer like, no, I'm totally uptone. Well, yeah, that means like happy. And so it's okay if the child protective services person is going like, okay, well, they're using different words. That's fine. As long as they're happy and they're using their terms. That's literally, they see in the kids' terms, quote, kids, we're not right. And so I remember this one thing, one of the child, they picked me and I was like, I'm going to mess up. I just thought they were never going to pick me because I wasn't like, you know what I thought? I thought I wasn't like uptone enough and ethical enough that they wouldn't pick me. And they had already been grooming, I call it grooming now, but training and drilling the other cadets on how to answer to the Child Protective Services questions. And no idea did we ever know that they were called Child Protective Services. Okay. They would just tell us like, okay, the outside world WOGs are getting these false reports from the German reporters that the children are being abused, and they gave us, you know, footage of actual physical, just a clip of evidence of, and they showed when they came over randomly quick with a helicopter flying like as low as they could without being, you know, not whatever. They got footage of kids digging the trenches, you know, so in the fields, that was happening all the time. We were harvesting vegetables. We were digging drainage trenches we were in the Int Ranch alone was in a valley in like a you
Right.
know, a
Like
cool
a canyon.
thing. So,
Yeah.
so water, we would have flash floods. We had all that. The creek would overflow. We couldn't get across the one bridge that would literally be our access point to get across the river from the creek from, you know, to get our food from Gold Base and vice versa, to bring all these vegetables and all these things. Anyway, so they did get footage of children and adults digging trenches and doing this work. And they
Right.
were able to show based on a child's story, which I believe was Asher Woodcraft's story, like one of the stories back then, where they were like, "Whoa, this is really happening," and they were trying to investigate it. And
Yeah,
the
she was one of the early
reporters,
kids
that's
to
what
come
we
out
say, the
and talk.
reporters.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was one of the early kids to come out. She was interviewed on several news outlets across the world, talking about her story. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, this is Erica. This is very accurate. She says, LOL, you guys were playing Oregon Trail in real life. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Laura doesn't know what Oregon Trail is, guys. She did go to public school like me. Oregon Trail is a game from the 80s that would have still been around when you were like a young child, but it's like this very early video game where you have to make it's like this choose your own adventure game where you have to make all these life and death choices, like as if you're on the actual Oregon Trail. But like I never won. I never made it to the end. I always died of dysentery or something like that. So yeah, it's a game. You can find it.
Like we were doing that sometimes for real at the Inn Ranch, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but like I felt like I was on the PABS. Okay, so again, Dan Probilski knew about all. I have this on here.
Put it on. This is one of your points. Okay, go ahead.
PAB 6 programs.
So that's Professional Auditors Bulletin number 6, which is a program written for people who are in Lafayette's terms, psychotic. So it's a series of actions that you're supposed to take with somebody who is having a break with reality. Okay.
Yep.
And this is what Scientologists do to handle somebody who's in psychosis, like for real.
Break.
Yeah.
So they were saying basically, because I kept running away from the ranch so often, and I was getting more like used to it, I guess. And they were like, "This is not okay. We need to put a head on a pike." So they were like, "Okay, this chick needs to go on, lockdown, under watch." They called it 24-hour watch, and then they put me on an ethics program, and part of that ethics program was my PAB 6 program.
Wonderful.
Auditing, they called it, this is my auditing side, where I would get this PAB 6 program, and I loved it, honestly, as a kid, not being a child. Okay, knock it off.
Right.
I loved it because I was able to go on walks. I had to go on an hour walk, which means I could go on a hike. I could do whatever. And it even said, L. Ron Hubbard put it directly in policy letter, like every day I needed to go on an hour and a half walk or more, 90-minute walk or more. And if I couldn't walk, I could throw rocks. And if I couldn't throw rocks, I could spit. There's something like that. But sometimes,
how old were you when this happened?
9 years old, like between nine and almost 10.
There you go.
I remember at 10, I was like, okay, I really need to knock this off. If I'm going to ever make it to gold, to be a golden era musician, I better knock off my ethics. I got to show them that, at a certain point I had ethics change. And also, I've said this many times, I was in the governess group, which was like it was the RPF, the Rehabilitation Project Force for the cadets.
Yeah.
And they even called it that at one point, and they changed it. Gee, I wonder why. Now I know.
Kind of bad PR, yeah.
Yeah, going back to that, I know we just went again a million zippity zip things. This can turn into 5 hours.
Well, we're not going to do 5 hours though, my friend.
That's what I mean.
Finish your points, we got to do the questions and comments here. We still got stuff.
Okay. So we did hospital visits, and then how they obviously call everything, no matter what it is, like pedophilia, whether an adult is going in to the dorms at night and going and molesting all the children. Okay.
Happened.
And then running out before anybody knows. That's all called out2D. So whether it's pedos, whether it's rape, or whether it's underage relationships, because you weren't even allowed to have an underage relationship, which we didn't understand. That wasn't even mentioned in our atmosphere. Underage, what? No, we're just not 18.
I mean, there were kids who were kicked out of cadet orgs because they had like, what's considered out2D in the Sea organization. Okay. When you do anything beyond French kissing. Okay. Any sort of touch of even over the clothes, guys, even over the
Heavy
clothes.
petting.
That's called heavy petting. And there were cadets who were just booted, like not even like given a chance to go because they canceled the cadet RPF. So they couldn't go there. So it was like, well, fuck you. Even though their parents were in the Sea Org, it was like, that's why there was a surge of homeless youth who were actual Scientologists, who were cadet kids, and ex-Sea Org kids who had been kicked out, but their parents were still in the Sea Org, or their parents had disconnected from them because they were so out ethics, right? They were just living all over the place in Hollywood, couch surfing in abandoned buildings and like and sneaking into the fucking crew dinings after meals were done to like swipe food and shit. Right. I mean, it's like, it was so gross. It was so gross. And most of those kids were young teens. Like I'm talking between 13 and 17 that were just booted out for all kinds of reasons and just told, bye. Like, you don't live here anymore.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
On so many levels, even from the parent, like the public Scientologists it was just a whole thing. And I believe it was because there were so many legal actions being happened where they had families all across the world, not just in America, but all, and let alone all the other states, that there were possible like child lawsuits going on in the fucking late 80s and or late 90s. I'm sure there was a lot. And that's why, and more I'm starting to see the reporters and everybody trying to get that. We were like, oh, the reporters, the SPs are coming to try to, get footage to falsify who we are. We're amazing.
Exactly.
And we know because we go to the events. Have you not gone to the local event? Like you would know the stats are boom, you know, like, so they're just on literal a brainwashing cycle. To be the adult, whatever that is, right today, now, it is insane for me to go back and see German news and go, oh my God, fucking Martin Habscheit is right there on the tractor. And not only that, I remember on the inside that I remember Dan Probilski being by me, but oh yeah, Martin, you need to come back. And he was saying, you need to, I remember something, he was like, cause you're German. And it wasn't that he was German in a way like we would want you there to translate to the German reporters. They were saying they could look up your name and find out who you are and who your family is.
Exactly.
So I'm going, Dan Probilski, as the ranch IC, knew who Martin Habscheit was, that was coming to the ranch, who was now being put on this post to harvest and be the farmer of the ranch and start to train and tell all the kids how to harvest and, harvest vegetables and procure vegetables.
Yeah.
Which obviously as children, this was amazing. We were like, what? We're going to finally use our land to grow shit. And oh my God, we're going to send it to the executives. They're going to be so proud of us. They're going to get so much done for the world because they're going to feel so enlightened and loved by their food. Like no, none of that was happening. It's such a fucking fraud. So the thing is like people like Dan Probilski right now could, if he had left and was just like, a Mike Brown, or could, like, I'm not going to bring Mike Rinder in this, but if he was a Mike Brown or somebody that was like sort of being open,
wait, hang on a second.
Really
why are we not bringing Rinder into this? Because
okay, I'm going to tell you
because you feel bad because he's on his deathbed. Is that what the deal is? Or
no, well, I do. Oh, okay. Yes, slightly.
I mean, I do too. I've said
all
it 100 times, but like, why aren't we talking about it?
Yeah, that's obvious. But no, because Mike is the only one getting it, and it's not just Mike; it's fucking everybody.
Oh,
so,
I see what you're saying. Mike is, and here's the deal. That's what I mean. I've talked a lot about
Mike.
But I
do refer to Mike a lot because Mike hasn't spoken a lot about what should be spoken about, and I'm like.
But there's a lot of people, guys, that know all this information that aren't just Laura, and who were in charge. Dan Probilski is one of the people who was in charge.
CC Smith knows a lot. She's down to talk about everything. We even in this one live stream get so overwhelmed with even just trying to keep a coherent conversation just between me and Nora that the chat understands. They're like, okay, we understand you have your own fucking but The chat needs to understand everything. Like, what's the RPF? What's muster? Somebody
Yeah.
asked that. Muster is what they, stand at attention at like a military and
You have to get in your
salute,
formation
report,
and you have to get
report,
accounted for. It's your roll
accounted for.
call. It's your roll call
Yeah,
at
you're
work.
showing up to duty.
Yeah.
Like,
Because there's no clocking in and out, guys. There's no like time clock, right? So
No.
everybody has to be rounded up 3
Get
times
the
a
same
day
pay.
to
the same pay.
show that you're still there.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think that like literally, this is why I love, you and I talking about this, because I've said very clearly that I want to get back to the age of specifics. I want to get back to like when Jesse Prince and
Who
Gary
it was that
Scarf
allowed
and,
Yeah.
and Hannah and Stacy and all these people who were very early on in the 80s and 90s speaking out about their time with Lafayette, with David Miscavige, doing various things, for not just Osa, but for David, for Ron, for all these people, right? In the name of Scientology, on behalf of Scientology, to protect Scientology. We need to get back to talking about those specifics, because even though something happened in 1977, right? It's still relevant today.
It's literally a puzzle piece to the pattern of Scientology.
Yes. But also
And
some
the
of those
other
things are repeating themselves now. They're bringing back the golden oldies.
It's a repetitive pattern. Exactly. And not only that, I was a little scared when I saw that Dan Perbilski clip. Like, I was like, that is Dan Perbilski.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if Scientology is using some hypnotic fucking, like MLK, like what is the
MK Ultra?
MK Ultra, like techniques to literally make people forget.
Well,
and
they
try to do that with Rosemary and shit like that.
They're very similar, the techniques, but the thing about it is the longer you're exposed to Scientology, the longer you're doing Scientology. And Dan is OT. He's OT5, right? Because he had to do that on the RPF.
I remember him wearing a OT bracelet, the big
like laurel
gold,
leaf with
whatever
the O
it was
and the
that,
T.
and I was like, and then eventually he took it off. He wasn't wearing it anymore, and I thought, oh, that's because he's always on the tractor or digging trenches. But Dan Perbilski, I just have like 3 more.
But the longer you do Scientology, right, and you can see this you can probably see it in your dad when the conditioning and things like that. The longer you're exposed to this brainwashing technique, the more damage it does. And I will say, like, I've said this before, but the shots that I got, the DSR. Okay, let's not. Thank you for having a party over there. That's my team with the root beer bottle. Mazel tov. Opa. All right. So once I had the shots, it wasn't just like the noise in my head, the suicidal ideation went away. It's like I can see a lot of things in Scientology much more clearly now. There's still things that I'm working through and deconstructing in my mind, but I can see those puzzle pieces so much clearer now because my nervous system is reset to the point where before I got exposed to Scientology, do you know what I mean? Before it was crammed down my throat. Now I'm like, okay, let's talk about some, but some of this stuff, when things pop up for my memory, when I saw this clip, Dan Perbilski, I was like, all this shit came back to me, about the RPF and everything else, which is very overwhelming for me. That's a huge, one of the biggest trauma points in my life is the RPF. And to remember, when I see him, even though I'm looking at him right now on my other screen, that from that clip, that's still, I don't see, and I'll just pull it up. When I'm looking at him right now, I see him in a gray shirt and black and faded black jeans and us running and doing construction work and stuff. It's so weird to me to see him not in those clothes. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. I'm like,
it's just it's wild.
And but okay, this is what's so shocking is to see him like that while the protesters have been going hardcore as we have, and while fucking Scott DOA has been there, there up every day, putting, in some way protesting in all degrees. And so, and Matt and all these people, they're all for Matt. So important and obvious, this is insane. Dan, who's just walking a Mr. Prabilski, just walking across the fucking street in casual civvy clothes. What?
Yeah. Well, I think this is a tactic. Laura froze here for a second, but I personally think, and she's frozen in
Did
such a
I?
cute. Yeah, you did. And you're frozen in this adorable
Oh,
way. It was
no.
like an adorable pose. But I think this is
Okay.
going to be a tactic we're going to see a lot more because of what Matt's been doing with both his MD Media 18 channel and his Faces of Scientology channel. People like us who have very long memories and knew a lot of people will go like, oh, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? And like, I just have to bring this up because Aaron did a video yesterday or day before where he showed the troll book that they put together of all the people. I didn't make the book. It's fine. I'm not insulted. No. But like one of the people was Andreas Hedel Lund. And Aaron didn't
Okay.
know who that was. He started
don't know who that is.
Xenu.net. He started
Okay, I didn't know.
Xenu.net.
Oh, Andrea. Okay.
Andreas.
I only know the
And
first
he's
name.
dead
I wouldn't
now
have
too.
known.
Like that's
Yeah.
how I know that book is like 2 years old because he's
And I only know that
RIP.
because of Tori. I only know that because of
Right.
Tori Magoo.
But he started one of the longest standing, and it's still going. I believe somebody else took it over after his passing. Is Xenu.net. When I the first thing I Googled was Scientology, and that was like that and Operation Clambake were the first two websites that came up when I Googled Scientology. So, and those two are still going. They're still going. They're still here. They're still pumping out all the info. But Dan, you know, he's one of these people who I don't know what his health status is. It doesn't look good. I mean, just like listening to his voice and like looking at him for those brief moments, I would say, you know, he's still alive, obviously, but like,
you know what I was thinking? Like maybe he's doing, I hate to say this, Nora, but, and I want to make sure I get these last few things in before I give any sympathy to Dan at all. It makes me feel like he's doing some like leaving the body routing form. You know, now they're catching it early and they're like, oh, this is like my uncle who was the senior Has International, who knew all kinds of horrible goddamn shit. You know, he died from colon cancer, and it's like they only notify you until last minute. But like my uncle had maybe a year, and then that was it. He died. So like I think they're catching on to that. Like, oh, once they get there, like, oh, if it's too much, they kind of know. And it's almost like if like not, I don't know, it's my gut feeling. My gut fucking feeling is fucking right, fucking all the time. Even if I found out years later I was actually right. I'm like, my gut, I should always listen to my gut. But my gut feeling is that he's on some kind of like, ending the body routing form. Yeah, no, it could be. Which is a bunch of things. Okay, we're gonna end soon.
We'll do that. We'll do that another time. We'll do the whole end of life assist. That's a fascinating fucking thing.
But so I want to just bring up another point. Dan Prabilski actually put his name. Sorry, Dan Prabilski.
But wait, are we talking about a specific person?
What do you mean?
Hang on one second. I'm gonna text you. I just want to make sure.
Mr. Tabioyan?
No. 1 second.
Okay, that's who I'm talking about.
Wow, Cece just sent me an old picture of Dan Prabilski. I'll have to put it up.
Can you put it up? Yeah.
I'll put it up.
So that people know who we're talking about when he was younger.
Yeah. No. But I wanna hang on. Before I do that, I want to text you.
We're doing secret stuff, guys.
Yes.
We're not allowed to tell you. Yes, exactly.
Oh, no. So I'm gonna
thing.
But I'm gonna put a kibosh on that.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about that after. So let's not talk about that right now.
Okay. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. We'll put it this way. There were even Oliver, the actor from The Neverending Story.
Sebastian, call my name, Sebastian. Yeah.
I don't know. But
the
I just
line
knew
in
him
the
as
movie.
Barrett Oliver at the end.
Barrett
ranch.
Oliver,
and
yes.
none of the people were allowed to talk to him and things like this. People were used to hide people at the Ant Ranch because of the orders of David Miscavige. There's nobody else who would make a decision that extreme than David Miscavige. Like, like even Claire Headley, I feel like in RTC at some points would be like, it's sort of leaning like we might have to send this child with their parents, you know, if we're declaring the, you know, and then like, you know, and then it would be like coming from Dave Miscavige where it's like, no, keep them away. Dave, you know, that whatever it is. It's just like, so the people, like we were saying, that are going, the adults that are at the Ant Ranch that are adults are either in David Miscavige or Executive Strata's eyes as dilettantes, and they're being revived and like, let's see if you can even hold a position over here, or they're literally being held to be hidden from people.
They did that with the RPF too. I mean, they would put people on the RPF who had like Angelo
100%.
Scotzi, who raped his 14-year-old assistant. Right? Statutory rape.
Okay.
And then instead of turning him into the authorities because her father, who was not a Sea Org member, fucking came in and was like, where's this man? I'm going to fucking break his face. They paid them off, got her out of the Sea Org very quickly and quietly. And then Angelo was put on the RPF. And then even after he graduated, they kept him there, like hidden for years because they wanted the statute of limitations to run out.
They literally say for security purposes.
For security purposes.
Say for security purposes. You know, it's, you know, they're on special lines.
Yeah.
Like they'd always not say whatever it was. They're on special lines. Don't worry about it. If you have any questions, go through security.
Yeah. Boom.
So that happened constantly. Okay. And then not only that, Dan Probilski, out of all the hot slave work, all of the horrible torture that the physical adults individually did on all of the children individually at whatever random fucking moments that they did that nobody even knows about other than the cadet themselves and the adult, because it would get that bad where it was one-on-one, like fucking anger being run by these fucking crazy people that literally are all Scientology, like psychotic, infused robots. Like they just can't help but do the right thing. And the right thing is L. Ron Hubbard's policies, and you can't change it. You can't even question it. You can't even fucking question it.
No, never.
And when you question it, it's questioned like, are you asking that in a negative way? Or are you
right?
Like it's always like, what, you know? So not only that, I was going to go to, so not only him knowing about every fucking detail that happens all the time about who's coming on the property, who's staying at the Campbell House, who's on the RPF now. He had his own secret confidential list that none of the other adults were allowed to see. And they all like, oh, Dan knows all the rules, Dan Probilski. So Dan knew who was on the RPF, who was being sent. And so that security at the ranch could keep the security at the ranch and the security guard at the RPF base can keep an eye. And so security at ranch, which is all on the ranch. But as a child, I thought, oh, nobody's allowed by the RPF base. It's all the way there. And they have their own security guards sometimes at the RPF base, which would be held by an honorable RPFer.
Right.
So they would notify the ranch security guard, Kenny Campbellman, you know, whoever it was, to go and, you know, get on their motorcycle and go chase after somebody if they were trying to run away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, 100%. 100%.
So he knew about all that. He knew about all that. And then the last things I was going to bring up is he knew about all the TTC and the HEM crew.
So the TTC is the Technical Training Corps. Those are the people, mostly young people, that get sent for full-time training to different organizations so that they can, you know, get trained as quickly as possible. They're not doing anything else but training.
Yeah. And so he knew about the TTC going to Gold Base. He knew about who would be approved and why other people wouldn't be. He knew about all out-duty crimes, all that, right? He knows about everything. He knows about what drainage, what the city didn't approve in a ton. Like he knows about everything construction-wise, the planning of the ranch. He knows about all that. So he knows like if the fire department calls, they go, hi, can I talk to Dan? It's literally, can I talk to Probilski, whatever it is, right? So he knew about all that. And here MD Media is catching him. So the Hem Crew, do you know what the Hem Crew is?
No, I don't know what that is.
I knew you wouldn't because it wasn't familiar to you because I would hear
was
it
never
every
in it.
day. And my sister was a part of it. The Hem Crew is the Hubbard E-meter, and they would literally be building the
Oh.
E-meters, guys.
Mhm.
They were building the new, nobody could talk about it. My sister, and I felt like, oh my
The
God,
Mark
sister,
Super
you can tell
7
me.
Quantum.
No, the Quantum. Yes.
Yeah,
Was
the
it
Mark Super 7. It was the Mark Super 7
was.
Quantum, and now they have the Mark 8.
The Mark 8. It might have been the Mark 8 too. Anyway, so yeah, it was the Quantum, blah, blah, blah. And they literally, like, each person, like my sister had a job. Sarah had a job. Everybody that was like I guess 14 years older or more, maybe 13, you know, depended if they were, you know, ethical enough.
Right.
They would be allowed on the they would be allowed on the Hem Crew. They would call it the Hem Crew, which was now
to go
we get
solder
it.
all the shit inside of the
It would
fucking
be
Radio
yep,
Shack e-meter.
and putting the Quantum and removing the
Yeah.
old one and making it and so they would literally be making these lie detectors, so to speak, these e-meters that today, still to this day,
Mhm.
they have to use these to attain total freedom. And
Yes,
pay
children were
millions of
using
dollars.
soldering machines to
Yep.
put the
At
circuit
the
boards
gold
together
base.
at the
Yep.
gold base. It was child slave labor. Don't get it twisted. Child slave labor.
And printing the CDs and
yeah.
making everything.
Making all
Using
of
the
shit.
printing machines. Yeah, they were literally putting the whole e-meters together. And they called the 15 cadets. It was 15 cadets from the Inn
Mhm.
Ranch to the Gold
Mhm.
Base every like 4 days. And the TTC, and they would go to the Gold Base. The TTC would be training, and the Hem Crew, HEM crew, would
Mhm.
be going to make and build the e-meters.
Did you guys
the
have
Quantum.
any PPE? Do you know what that is? Personal protection equipment. Did you have like any masks, gloves, any special like boiler suit you'd put on or anything?
No, they would do it mainly, of course, only for the videos when they were showing the Gold Base. Like, look, they had the hats, and it was so weird. Like, oh yeah, we have to wear these hat things. Like, we don't really wear those,
Right.
things like that. But nobody was really allowed on the base to inspect unless they were like,
no.
all right. He's coming to inspect, and they're like, cool, no problem. And they'd be like, oh my God, everybody get ready. Blah, 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 and everybody in white glove and make sure everything and wear your hats. And we're not going to get, you know, and that's how it goes. That's how it goes with fire department inspections. That's how it goes with everything.
Oh,
and
yeah.
once they leave, they don't have to come back for another year or 3 years. Then,
Yeah.
or they
depending
just
on the
them off.
department. Yeah.
Whatever, exactly.
Yeah.
They just paid them off, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, we're good. All right, same shit.
Wink,
Okay,
wink. Yeah.
4 bunk beds, 3 bunk beds, no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, when they would stack them up.
Oh, yeah. No. And the thing is, guys, is you have to realize that whenever there's an inspection anywhere, okay, like an official inspection for the dining room, or like, for example, at Celebrity Center, we have the Rose Garden Cafe, which is like when you walk in from the parking lot, the first thing that you encounter when you walk into Celebrity Center is actually the Rose Garden Cafe. And so everybody gets stuff there. I used to buy Cokes there and stuff because they didn't want us walking across the street to Mayfair. So you go to the Rose Garden Cafe, but
okay, I was going to say, isn't the pavilion the first thing you would see on the right-hand side?
No, because it depends on where you park. Because the pavilion's
Oh,
actually,
that's
like
right.
if you're in the parking lot, it's off to the right. But if you're going
You're
into the building, the first thing is the Rose Garden.
You're right. Okay,
And
you walk down the little path, and then you
you got to go
kind of
across the little
look
path.
like, oh, there's Giovanni Ribisi. Ooh,
Right,
I'm
you
gonna
can
go
see
get a
down-
power bar
And they
before my
changed that, so
session.
you couldn't see down into the celebrity courtyard
Down
anymore.
below.
They put all these fucking trees and shit up. Anyway, so when Los Angeles and California changed, it started the whole restaurant rating system where it was like A through F.
Yes.
So the inspector showed up unannounced and inspected not only the Rose Garden Cafe, but the Renaissance and our basically the kitchen where everything is made.
Yeah.
So the Rose Garden got a C. Like
Yeah,
its
that
very
was
first
really
rating ever
bad.
was a C.
Yeah,
And
it
our
wasn't
our
that they
kitchen
got
was
it.
shut
It was
down.
out PR.
Our kitchen was
out PR.
shut down. Crew dining, they couldn't make food. They had we were eating pizza for like 2 weeks because they had to feed us something, but they couldn't make the food there. So like our chef went to pack to go use that kitchen and bring stuff. They were like, it was insane. It was
I
insane.
can see the whole thing happening. I
They
can
tried
see
to
like,
hide
oh
the
no,
seeds.
Bill
They tried to
Penn.
hide it with like
Right,
a
not
rose bush
fully
and
show
all
it.
this shit. So you could,
Exactly.
but
Yep.
like the law is you have to display it in a prominent
And the
place
same
where
thing
people.
happened in Clearwater. The same thing happened
Yeah.
in Clearwater with the restaurants. Like there was just dumb shit that's like, no, you have to have this available and around at all times. Or
Yeah,
it's like,
and the inspector
like,
person that came was like, this was not somebody we had safe pointed, right? So they just showed up to do their fucking job, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. It was this, so many people got in trouble. They were just berated for hours during staff muster and meetings because like, it's like, how could you not know that the county is sending this official? Why didn't you have your phone call into your informant inside the county? And how come you didn't pass the cash to the right person to find out who's going to come and then get the right person to come so that they could inspect it and give us, you know, what we need is A's. We need A's. We're A's. We're A's. Let's just say.
yeah, no way. They wouldn't have the hibiscus restaurants. They wouldn't have the lemon tree, the, you know, anything, the sandcastle, nothing. You would, if you had like the CMO, when I was in CMOs, like as a messenger, I would be writing programs of anything like that. If the restaurant had a B, it would be like, what the fuck? Like that's what we would be handling. And so I would write programs like, fix this, make this, get the, you know, get Xavier to fix the, you know, whatever, get Felipe to fix the freaking drain pipes. It would literally be, I would know who it was. And so I would write out programs of like, you need to fix this. This is who's doing this target. This is, and my job as a messenger was program targets accomplished. So when I did, everything was like a freaking wow, upstat, downstat. Childhood or not, even in Clearwater, upstat, downstat. Are you upstat, downstat? And how many times did L. Ron Hubbard say, if you're upstat, you could get away with murder?
Oh, that's in the Kakan reference. My dad was a Kakan.
Yes.
My dad was a Kakan. And
we talked about that.
Yeah, and
one of bullshit. Our earlier long streams.
Yeah, it's bullshit. That's a bullshit status.
It's such a bullshit. Anything having to do with Scientology, the Nation of Islam. You know, the people that I called out at the Christmas Winter Wonderland, at the Winter Wonderland, when I was like, who's like, I am a priest or whatever. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what you are if you're saying you're doing business with people in Winter Wonderland. This is all Scientology. I was like, well, you're probably, and I literally was like, some girl was like, yeah, like trying to get him away. And he was like, we're just here to do business. We come here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I literally said, thank you. I said, no, you have some business or you're an FSM. I said, or you're like some member of Nation of Islam that you think this is a normal fucking thing. And then he was like, well, and then he's trying to get, and I was like, I am not talking to you. No, you're literally, I'm here to stop people coming in to Wonderland, and you're going to try to change my mind while people are going in. I was just more like focused, like, no, you're just somebody who's going to try to change my mind.
It's just a fucking distraction.
No, you don't fucking know. Yeah. And you don't know. I know what you're doing. Anyways, I'm like, yeah, make your money, you little hustler. Like, gross. No, get your 10%. Fuck off. I don't give a fuck about your suit and how much time you took here to get to Winter Wonderland. I don't give a fuck. You're clearly doing business with them. Clearly, you are the problem. Anyways, long story longer. I didn't mean to go long, but yeah, that was it. It's always just somebody connected in some way. They don't want to let it down. They don't want to give it up. It's like, oh, well, I want to keep promoting. Even if I don't believe in it, I'm still going to make people buy courses and do auditing levels so that I get money. At a certain point, like, fuck, at a certain point, they are just taking money to continue doing the fucking crap they're doing. And then it feeds that like dopamine of like, yeah, I like this. And it's like, ew, you're literally becoming the devil.
Yeah, no, it's gross. It's disgusting. Okay, so we've got, listen, I'm going to bring him back up on screen here.
That was it.
No,
I just wanted, Nora, I thank you for letting me get that, because I was so heated and I didn't mean to be like, Natalie didn't pick it. I didn't mean to like rude, but I was like, Matt didn't, when I saw it, I was like, Matt didn't. And I was like, well, Matt doesn't fucking know. And holy shit, holy crap, we got Dan Probilski on record right now. Yeah. And then the other thing I was thinking was like, And then I was like, okay, well, like, oh, somebody must have sent this clip to Natalie. And then I thought, oh, Natalie will know. In my mind, I just thought Natalie will know who Dan Prabilski is.
She knows who Dan Prabilski is. Of course she does.
But she didn't. She didn't. I watched
She didn't know
the
who
stream.
Dan Prabilski. First of all, his wife was the RTC
Nora,
rep at
I'm not
AO for
even
years.
trying to. Nora, I'm not even trying to say anything. I'm just saying,
I know.
like, oh, and then Cece brought up something like I saw Cece brought up a comment where she said something. I don't think she meant to do this, but she was like, "Oh, he helped establish that." And I was like, Dan Prabilski was the ranch I see the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
He knew everything about all of the children, Jenna Muscat, everybody that anybody even knows the name of out in the world, and the ones they don't know. He knows.
I mean, I could name like 3 different ranchers because I was on the RPF with them. But like,
it's just unbelievable. I was like, whoa, there's so much to this. So I wasn't trying to like call her out, but I was like, he is literally what, as Serge Delmar would say, literally would say, is he was one of the traffickers. He would be one of the security guard traffickers who would allow and make this reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. It doesn't matter
100%.
if Dan and all the adults are such nice people and now they're really trying to save the world. Well, you were doing this.
Blah, blah, blah.
You did this.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
that's, all right. So I just want to bring him up one more time. No, you're good. So this is Dan Prabilski. I'm just going to play the clip one more time through.
And can you also show the picture you had? Sorry, did you have a picture you said you have of him?
I did.
Can you just show that? Sorry, just so people know how he looks now and then before. And then I'll do my own on my own channel, guys. I will be doing I want to get right back into all the streams where I used to be telling my story more about the ranch and all that. So I'm going to be doing that more. This inspired me. Thank you, MD Media 18. If you're not following him on YouTube, go follow him at MD Media 18.
On either of his channels,
Yeah, and at Faces of Scientology. Something like that. I hope that's right. But so you can even see the deep programming and the slow brainwashing, even if they didn't literally. Well, Scientology auditing is hypnotic. It comes from the background, and everything that auditing stems from is L. Ron Hubbard stealing it from old black magic, old hypnotic, old psychology, everything. Hypnosis.
Well, he started out in a sex black magic cult. So
okay. So, but not going too far off track. I'm just saying. I do understand when they have somebody like Dan Prabilski who's either not doing well or they're literally putting him into a fucking mental disability. I don't know how to explain it other than this man knows way too much when there are protesters protesting the blue building and he is working at the blue building. He was. The last time I saw him, he was in the Sea Org working at the blue building.
Here's the picture that CC sent me.
Whoa, that's so weird. No, he looked different than that for sure.
That's like 1970s, yo. That's like the 70s.
That was before the Ranch. Okay, good.
This is like the 80s. But like this is what he looked like. His hair was white though when I knew him. His hair was whiter.
He did not have all that hair on the top. He always had a bald and maybe a little less, and he never had the beard really more. And who's the chick in there? Does she know?
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Is that Tony?
Anyways.
Is that his wife?
I don't know. We never heard much about Tony. Never saw Tony at the Int Ranch.
Yeah. All right. But this is Dan. I just want to play the clip one more time through for everybody who came in later. Okay. Because we've been going now a couple hours. Here we go. Let me just get it here. And I'm going to play it at normal speed here so you guys can hear it. Here we go. It's a very quick interaction.
Faces of Scientology.
Faces of Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, sir? You know Phil Anderson?
That name sounds very familiar, yeah.
He works in the galley. Or the cafeteria or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see him tell him his daughter Megan Anderson misses and loves him.
Okay.
I appreciate you. My name's Matthew.
Nice to meet you.
Your name?
Dan Prabilski.
Dan Prabilski. Nice to meet you. Have a beautiful day.
And that was it. Just
Yep.
like that. Just like that. I mean,
Such
I
a
hope
small clip, but so
it's
important.
very small. It's just a few seconds interaction, but it's key. Yeah. Oh, that is Tony in the picture. Okay, that's Tony. She was an RTC rep in the 90s, but obviously I would recognize her in an RTC uniform and probably with a much harsher face than her party face in that
Right.
photo.
Right, but that even brings more attention. Why would so the only reason Dan Perbilski would be allowed to even be around and then have some kind of position of any sort would be the ranch I see at the Cadet Org when his wife is an RTC?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the only
Know
reason.
From directly from the bed.
Yep. All right. Let's bring
Whatever's
up all
going
these super cheaty chats here.
Okay.
Here like Cody dropped it. Thank you for being you. That's from Here Like Cody. Bo Beats. Liz with a little weed, Laura with a little wine. Can we please get Nora with a little something something on a stream? Guys, I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I'm.
No, but there's things. Hello, they're all things. They're all things.
I don't.
Okay?
It doesn't do any. You guys don't like this.
We're not talking about marijuana. I also noticed. Gonna point out the out ethics and out points. Do not relate Zit Face's disgustingness to like smoking too many bong hits. Okay, marijuana is amazing. Okay. He is doing something other than that and dealing with evil. Like he is disgusting. It has nothing to do with marijuana. But I understand if you don't want to say other drugs because it could get you cut out on your YouTube or whatever the fuck. But no, let's be clear. Marijuana, Mary Jane, we okay. It's beautiful. It's healing. It's loving. It's joyful. It actually makes you fucking think for yourself. Whether that's psychotic or not, it makes you think for yourself.
Well, maybe that's what's happening with him. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't speak to that.
No.
So, yeah.
No, he's doing a lot more and he's excusing it and shading the love and the light of and what he does of marijuana, what he does to protesters and people taking out Scientology. He shades the beauty of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway,
all right.
Sorry.
Marijuana
is amazing.
Sent another one. I know you think that, and I know you believe that, and that's okay. We have differing opinions on that. I do think medicinally it can be used to help in certain situations, but we're not talking about marijuana. We're not talking about Mary Jane, whatever you want to call it.
That'll be on my stream.
That'll be on Laura's stream. You get
also when you're tagging me, it's at Laura FM Music. Because really, in the end,
did I tag the wrong one?
At Laura FM.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I put the Laura Anderson official? Which one is that?
No, when it's okay. Well, I'll show you later.
Okay,
it was just on another stream. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super easy. I was just like, dang, people would do that. And I bet you a bunch of people have done that. I'm like, fuck, I'm missing so many things.
Yes. Okay, so Here Like Cody sent a Shiba dog clapping his hands. I love Shiba dogs. They are fun. Gina Freya sent $50. Girl, what's going on? Laura, you deserve all the best. Lots of mom hugs to you. From Miss Gina. Mess sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Mess. That's beautiful. We're going to go through here, and there were so many memberships given out. I have to give them all a shout out here.
You got to do a shout out. It's part of your word. You got to keep your word.
Gen X Les just became a member. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Well, because people wrote the word like member, you member. SP Crusader Leedy celebrating 4 months of memberships. Fantastic. Verity gave, and I read this earlier, gifted 5 memberships, and I read all those people out earlier. And then Super Pup celebrating 8 months of membership. Awesome sauce. Which Share gifted 5 Laura FM memberships. Fat Grammy got a membership. Frenchier Onion. Okay, was gifted a membership. Jen D was gifted a membership. That's Jen with 2 N's. Don't get it twisted. Holly Lewis was gifted a membership. DT was gifted a membership. And DT gifted a membership, and Amanda Beaumont got that membership. AZ Crimson gifted a membership, and DOA's Megaphone got that one. Jen D says thank you for the membership. AZ gifted another membership, and Scientology Up North, Miriam, who's kicking some ass over there in Denmark, go subscribe to her, got that membership.
Are you guys are doing a live soon or no?
No, Miriam Francis, other Miriam.
I know. Aren't
Me
you
and
doing?
Mona and Miriam are gonna do a live on Sunday at 5 p.m.
Oh, a different.
Pacific.
This is a different. That's right.
This is a
Totally
different Miriam.
one.
This is
I'm sorry,
Denmark,
Miriam,
Miriam.
up north. I'm so sorry. I got excited. I was like, wait, Nora, you got to let people know.
Yeah.
And then you still got to let people know it's Miriam up north.
It's Miriam up north. That's right. It's a different one because the other Miriam's down under. She's
Down
in
under.
Australia. AZ Crimson gifted another membership, and Lino got that membership. Wolf Dog UK gifted 20 Lara FM memberships. Ready for the new members. Here we go. 20 new members. Miss Chicago Jane, Freebird, Joy. Hang on, I gotta scroll. This is really happening. Margie Barr, Chrissy Never In Newton, Lockbox.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a cute little unicorn here. Anna from Canada, Sybil Vimes, Love and Life 369. Tyranny is Evil, D Burner, Travelcology, Lori Tampa, Johnny Midnight, Rena 99, Just Me, Care Bear. We're not even done. Tim Harris.
I got all these
that
memberships.
was all those were from Wolf Dog UK. Holy cannoli.
Yeah.
AZ Crimson gifted another membership, and John Thompson's got that one. All right. Let me keep going here. AZ Crimson gifted another membership. Why aren't you on my channel, AZ Crimson? What's going on? I'm just kidding. Renee KC got that membership. Sunday gifted 5 Lara FM memberships.
Thank you, Sandy.
Libby got a membership. Erie Forever got a membership. Little got a membership. Kelbell and T-Ray. All right. Let's see here. AZ Crimson gifted another membership. And Sinead Scholl got that membership. Let's see. And then they gifted, another one. And Rebel got that one. Holy cannoli. JB808 is like, I'm getting in on this action and gifted 5 memberships on my channel. Snooki got a membership. Holy cannoli got a membership. CB got a membership. Tandra got a membership. And Kristen in Copenhagen got a membership. Mess is celebrating 4 months of membership. Detroit Stacy Never In. 7 months of membership on my channel. I love you. And we love being together too. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ann Castillas was not going to be outdone and did 20 memberships also on my channel. Here we go. JB808 was gifted. Hitzel, Tiffany B, Carol Stewart, Miss Chicago Jane.
Amazing. Oh my God.
Margie Barr.
It feels good, right, Nora? Don't lie. You love running this out.
Ella Guinese, Mathieu Etienne Dumas.
Mathieu Etienne Dumas.
Dumas, or is it Dumas?
He's been following me for a while. I know
is it
that.
Dumas?
Dumas.
Dumas?
Zutala. Cricket Cinema.
Cricket Cinema. M.A. O'Hay, Deadly Nightshade, Patty Sheck, Fancy Face, Z, Psy. I scrolled too much. Where did I go? There we go. With this adorable dog. Look at that dog. Look at it. Greg, 1019.
Greg.
Yolanda SP Swiss, Suzanne Owens, Shelly Harris, Tess, AF5WO, Field Boss, and that's the W other memberships. Yes. Holy cannoli. Guys, thank you so much for those memberships. That's wild. Let's go through the comments here quickly. Let me see.
You guys are amazing.
You guys are fucking rad sauce. For real. Let's see here. Okay, so Mess is asking for prayers and good vibes. My aunt has stomach cancer and had surgery yesterday to remove some of her stomach. She was laughing with my mom today. They're sisters. My cousin said the first thing she said when waking up is, "Where is Todd?" Todd is the dog. So listen, all my thoughts and love go to your auntie. I really hope the surgery was fully successful. They got everything and that she's on the road to recovery. So let's all send Mess's auntie some good vibes, let's see here. This is a very good comment here, Chi. I can't imagine being in love with someone and afraid they'll write a knowledge report on me. Yeah. Yeah. It's it fucks with you. Also,
I feel like if I were to recycle that, it would be like, I can't believe I would be married to somebody that's going to abuse me and then not, and then I'm going to abuse them when they get mad at me for
Right.
going to the authorities, or even
Yeah, it's
just
an
at-
abuse cycle. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a cycle of abuse, but both from the people who get abused, and then it's always
And-
it's circular. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
You reinforce that, and you write other things on other people. I mean, I wrote my fair share of KR, so that's for sure. Fat Grammy says, can you say Scientology Crimes? That's a new channel at Scientology Crimes, has been posting crime videos. Yes, please go check that out. Please subscribe. Go check out those things here. Please read MD. Okay, I'm sure Vicky, if they're not in this section, I will find them. Just give me a moment. SP from afar says, stopping by to say hi to two of my favorites. I learned so much when you two get together. Amazing how strong you two are after such horrendous childhoods. You both give me strength. Hearts to you also, SP from afar. Rose-colored glasses says, I hope you have Laura on your show regularly, Nora. Thank you. Laura, I'm so sorry. As an ex-Scientologist from the boonies, I had no clue this ever went on. Thank you for sharing your story. Listen, guys, rose-colored glasses is a testament to what we say when we tell you that these Scientologists that the protesters are seeing daily don't know these things happened or were happening. They are not aware of Scientology's crimes because they go to the events and they're indoctrinated with false statistics, false information, right? Just propaganda telling them Scientology is wonderful. We're clearing the planet. We're helping all these people. We're doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, people are being abused.
And not only that, the person doing that is my mother, putting the images, the parent of me, quote unquote parent, putting those images for the last 30, 40 years.
Your incubator, Laura. You should just refer to her as your incubator.
Okay, but like she's the one who's putting these edited images for everybody to see at the events that are brainwashing.
Right. She's creating the propaganda. She's a propagandist.
And she continues it. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's greater good for Scientology if you lie than to actually tell the truth. If it's going to benefit the PR of Scientology.
Oh, yeah. You lie to protect the church 100%. Stacey, if I did that, I would be in big trouble with my wife. I don't think I'm going to keep streaming for the next several days. Also, Saturday, I'm taking tomorrow, Saturday, I will be off because we are having a Hanukkah party, which I am helping my wife prepare for, kids celebrating and like friends and stuff coming over. But also that is my pop-pops, my stepdad's, my father. I refer to him as all those things because he raised me for 33 years of my life. My biological father passed when I was 19, but that was his birthday, December 28th. So I will be toasting to my pops and celebrating Hanukkah with my kids and my beautiful wife. So Sunday you'll see me again, but yeah, Saturday is remembrance and party day. We're gonna do that. Sam Francis's story of Martin break my heart. Yeah, it's really shit. It's really shit.
Martin Hobshite.
Okay, this is a good idea. I think maybe we should do this sometimes. And I'm gonna be doing more of this, JB. But he says, I would love to see 2-second gens reacting to some of the older videos of Tories and Mark Bunkers and offer your commentary between the both of you. I'm sure you know a lot of faces. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, guys, I'm going back in the time machine to show the things because those people that you see in Mark's old videos are the same people that the Chicago auditors saw not letting people walk down the street, right? Because the same people who were in OSA then are still in OSA now, and some of whom I was on the RPF with because they got a stint in the RPF for a little bit. So yeah.
And also I want to let people know that people that are in RTC and above OSA and all that can technically be called OSA. Like, for example, Kevin Catano, who is RTC security and RTC, he is technically OSA. He will tell OSA what to do. He is so OSA is the organization. They're like an idea, right? They're an organization that handles their post titles and positions, handle the PR, but the orders and everything are coming from above, which is Dave Miscavige and all the executives at the time.
Right. Yeah, it's so stupid. Kelly, U2 fan says, Thank you, Nora and Laura. I could watch you two together every day. Well, thank you for that. We love talking with each other. Angel says, this is just popped back into my head. I first saw Laura at a protest in front of Celebrity Center that was streamed by Joy of Everything. It was so awesome to see a protest with so many strong people. I don't know if that was the protest that we were all at when we were carrying the names, or it might have been a totally different protest. You've been in a lot of.
Yep,
that protest was amazing. Yeah, that was an amazing protest. Let's go to the questions here. Boop, 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 boop.
Bada boop boop now.
Okay, so Gin and Tonica wants to know, is that ranch that Laura was at still active? Sorry, I'm from Sweden.
No, they closed it down and they made it a whole mission, as they say. They sent out a mission to close down the ranch, not only to cover up all the evidence and the abuse and everything that they could easily just a person coming in going, oh, this was a structure and this is the result of it. Oh, the kids did all this work, etc. They just got rid of any evidence whatsoever, any names of any children, which I did find on, I have footage of me finding an org board piece of Sarah Willett, who is Bruce Willett, the commanding officer of Gold Base's daughter, who was at the Ant Ranch running the like all the cadets that were they're called the governess, but the people that were in ethics or trouble. Sarah Willett was trained by Renee Berther, who was once a freaking cadet who was illiterate in certain areas, and then anyways, long story longer, it's just a recycled pattern. So yeah, it's crazy. All the evidence of all this was literally burned down in the realist sense. Like they actually had a dump burning everything up, and then they also got rid of everything. So that
and the Pack Ranch was demolished. They literally tore the buildings down.
They didn't want to even show how the buildings looked or what the kids were living in regular day for the last 50-year conditions.
Yeah. Amanda Beaumont wants to know, why do you think Dan talked to Matt?
Dan talked to Matt.
Dan Probilski.
I think he had no idea. Matt just probably looked like just a happy-go-lucky, almost like, could he be could he be a news reporter? Could he just be a chill guy wondering about? So he's like, oh, hey, I think Matt did exactly what Matt does and caught Dan Probilski off guard.
Yeah, for sure.
Security's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh no.
Why did he just show up? Now they're doing live streams about it.
I'm gonna download his whole video to my drive right now, so that in case they privacy strike it and take it down, we still have Dan. Yeah. And we'll just preserve that. Let me just pull up all my little. I'll just pull. You already downloaded it?
I mean, it's on our stream, literally, that we showed.
Oh, it's on our stream. Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But it's always good to have a hard copy of these things. Because
I think he does that. I think he's so smart with it now that he uploaded that, he uploaded that separately. So I think he does.
Yeah.
Question: did you enjoy all the Scientology lingo when you were in it? Because there sure is a lot of it. Did we enjoy it? Did we enjoy it? I don't think. No, we enjoy it now. Actually, if that's the real thing, we enjoy it now because we get a joke and degrade. We get a joke and degrade about it, which is also another Scientology lingo for joke, like being funny about something that shouldn't be being funny about. Like it's serious. We love joking and degrading, and also
but we didn't know anything else. It was just regular talk to us.
It wasn't even lingo. Another view to be able to call it lingo. It was
my God.
It was like
never.
Like, you enjoy speaking English in America? It's like, sure, yeah.
Yeah. It was just normal. It was just normal shit to us.
The norms.
Let's see here.
No more? Good.
No. Hang on. Oh, okay. I want to ask you this one too. Our SEERG members provided routine medical and dental visits, and who would cover the expenses if Scientology doesn't even provide hygiene essentials? So no, there was an exception to that because there were 2 dentists that I know of, and there might have been a third one at Flag. But one time there was like a dentist. They hired a dentist, put them in the Sea Org at PAC, and they were just like, they were never not working because people's teeth were so bad in this organization.
And they had to actually take care of staff, even if they were the freaking,
RPF.
dumpster person, whatever. They had
That's
to
how a
for
lot of people
legal
got dental care. Is they were
reasons.
on the RPF,
And they would
got the dental care.
literally be like, the legal issue here is they have 4 root canals that are going straight down to the person's heart. And the legal and PR aspect is that this person could die under our care.
Yeah.
That has been with us for over 40 years.
Yeah.
So,
Bad news bears. Yeah.
Auntie
M wants to know, Laura, did you pay for laundry at the ranch, like quarter machines?
No, one cadet did all the laundry for everybody, and all of our owned possessions of clothing were all marked with our initials. Like mine were MA everywhere. My socks, anything that wasn't labeled was our fault and would get thrown away or given away.
Yep. Same on the RPF. Is there anything that you would like Matt to ask Mr. P next time? If he sees him another time.
Is there anything you would like Matt to ask Dan?
Yeah, MD Media 18 to ask Dan Przybylski if he sees him again.
Say, hey, when I mentioned Megan Anderson, hey, remember I mentioned, just say, you remember Megan, you knew all the kids at the Inn Ranch. She told me, he could say directly, I spoke to her and she you definitely know her, and not only her, but sadly all the horrible neglect and things that happened to kids at the ranch, you know all about that.
Yeah.
Are they still doing that in Scientology? I wonder how long that conversation was. Yeah. I'm like, if he's still sticking around after.
Yeah, we'll see. What years was Tim Hines at the ranch? It makes me sick thinking that his dad was on the property on the RPF and they never saw each other in those 3 years. They would
when they were both working. Sometimes he would be running by and Tim would be, we would be, he was on the governance group with me because I was always in the governance group. So whenever Tim Hines was a pretty good kid in general, but he got sent to the governance group because he was misbehaving or whatever. And then I remember so many times his dad would be running by us, the RPFers would be running by us. We'd be working on similar projects or whatever. And I would wave and all kinds. I would see who the RPFers were. Tim would see his dad, hi dad, and wave and like, oh, give him a hug and then keep running. Oh, and it was like fun. It was cute. Like, oh, give him a high five while he's going, okay, can't stop running. Got to stick to the rules.
Laura, you don't have your mailing address in your on your YouTube description in the back end. I'm just on because
I'll get to that.
Okay, Laura will put that up there. But there's a question from Kelly YouTube fan. These are Laura's links here. This is now Laura. I did tag the right person because your is at Laura Anderson official. But if you
I was
Laura
just saying
FM,
on one, if you put,
you'll find her. Yeah.
Okay.
But the when I'm tagging you is at Laura Anderson official. Otherwise, it doesn't tag.
My
you.
YouTube channel is Laura FM Music.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, no, that's the other channel. For your
anyways,
music.
My mailing address is 110. If I was on my own channel by myself, I could pull it up, but I'm not. It's 110 North Virgil Avenue, number 349, Los Angeles, California, 90029.
There you go. No, but that's your other channel, Laura. You have 2 channels. You know that, right?
No, I know. I need to delete that. That's either a scam. I have no recollection of ever making that, but maybe I accidentally made it when I was like trying to make a YouTube channel fucking 8 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, because this is where like this, if you go to your content,
yes.
And this is live. This is like you have all of your artology and everything else here.
Yep. And then there's some other random thing. Anyways, Nora,
you
don't
need
Laura
to call Anderson out music.
Okay, you don't need to call out my unorganized shit right now.
It's okay. But this is the one that has like the Scientology stuff. I think the music channel was like you were trying to do
my music and everything. I was trying to say no. Too? It's all here. It's at the home. My live is all the lives that I
got you.
And everything else is on the home. Is all on videos or home.
Yeah. So but if you want to send Laura anything, let me just I'm gonna get this link tree here. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Okay. This is where to give Laura all the things, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all of that stuff. Everything, boom, 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 boom.
Money,
okay?
money.
Does Ashley have a channel?
Yes. I think it's what is Ashley's? I'm not sure. I'm always Ashley. I think isn't it just I think it's just Ashley Ramirez. I don't know. Ashley. That's how I call her. Ashley. Our friend's kid calls her Ashley. It's right there. That one. You just hovered over it. Right there.
This one?
No.
This one.
Yeah, click on that.
Papusa.
Oh, Papusatology.
Papusatology. That is
yes,
Ashley's.
Of course, I should have fucking known that. Papusatology 99.
Papusatology. Yes, that's Ashley's YouTube channel. There you go. Papusatology. Give her a subscribe. Find her there. Okay, let me get back. I think we have like one more. Where am I going? There we go.
Ashley.
Oh, Angel, this question is too long. Okay, we're going to have to do a whole nother stream about this. But Angel wants to know, what was life like living in Blue? Besides going to courses and audit sessions, what else happened there? Angel, listen. That is like our whole fucking life. So we'll have to, we literally, that would be another,
for me, actually, I didn't live at Blue. I lived at the Enton Ranch. To me,
Yeah.
I only was at Blue across the street in a little parking lot that was converted into daycare. And I was there until I was like 2 years old. And then,
yeah. And I was
went to
only
the
at Blue on the
APA.
RPF because I was at
Yeah.
Celebrity Center. So
our whole life, was not at Blue.
no,
And
there's
a
no
lot more.
normal life anywhere in the Sea Org or in Scientology. If you're in the Sea organization in any capacity, that's not, I mean, we have what we thought was a normal life, but it's not, we know now it was not
Clearly.
normal. That was not a thing. Yeah, let's not do that. Oh, that witch share sent in a super chat. Weed is healing. Since I started smoking weed 15 years ago, my ulcerative colitis, I couldn't read that word for a second, apologies, went into remission. That's amazing. My colitis has been better for the past 15 years ever in my life. I love that. That's fucking great.
We love you, Cher.
Tiffany B sent in a super chat. Thank you for that. Listen, guys, I'm not a hater on people using it in a way that's helpful to them. What my comment was, and I just want to clarify my comment about Tiny Tots, was that what you see him ingesting over like a 4-hour period seems like an excessive amount that is not meant to like, hey, I need to chill out after my day, or I'm doing that.
But Nora, that's
bit
judgmental
to, like,
when you don't smoke
it's
weed. I smoke
judgmental.
weed all the fucking time, all the time, and it
Okay.
doesn't make me like that. He's disgusting, and it has nothing to do with marijuana.
I was talking about his cough though too. I was like, I think that's probably. And then somebody in the comments was like, clean your bong.
That's him trying to make him pretend that he's sick and shit to like pretend that he
Oh, maybe.
No, he's a liar. Don't even try to sanitize. Don't try to even fucking make sense to any move he does, because
okay. Cher is also saying she smokes a lot of weed. Guys, I am very vanilla. I've never I had a pot brownie once. I didn't enjoy it. First of all, why ruin a perfectly good brownie? Yeah, I've never smoked anything. I'm not I don't do that.
And the cough is only there for like the 20 seconds, maybe the 2 minutes, 3, not even the most 2 minutes. You're like, but then it's gone. And then you're like, yee, all happy. And you're like, why the fuck was I arguing with that idiot?
Auntie M says, is 20 blunts a day a lot? That's me. Yeah, guys, listen.
Hi, honey.
I'm just vanilla sauce, guys. I don't do anything. I'm so boring. Okay. So
whatever.
That's
no,
okay.
You're not. Don't say you're boring. No.
I mean, in turn, like I'm not that person.
No.
Everyone is giving their blunt count now.
You cannot relate when you've never done it. So there's no relating if you've never done it.
No,
period.
I don't know anything about it. That's the God's honest truth.
That's the thing. No, and you would be amazing smoking. So it doesn't matter. So that's all I'm saying. Okay.
All right. Now, Lara, when is your next stream? What are you up to next? What's happening?
Follow my fucking thing. You'll know. I don't know. I'm too busy doing shit.
Lara she just can't even right now with all the things that she's doing.
I got a bunch
Let me
of
just
shit
go to, I'm trying to get people to your shit. So when they want to buy your swag, they just go to your website, or where do they go?
Go to my website. It'll lead you my Bandcamp page. Right now, I'm working literally on all of that right now. I'm working on the website. I'm working on all that.
So her website is live. You can still go.
Yep,
It's
and you can scroll down.
FM.
Scroll down.
It's Lara.fm. And then it has her next show, Scientology stuff, about and booking. And then right here in the middle, you can get Lara FM merch. Let's click on it.
Yes.
Boom.
I wonder how this will look.
Let's see. Oh, there it is.
See?
Look at that. You can buy some art. You can buy, of course, the SPTV Goldenrod collection exclusive to Lara FM. Okay. She started that. It's her
tie-dye.
SP.
There's the tie-dye.
There's the tie. Where's the tie? Oh, here's the tie-dye shirt.
Yep, the
all this
number
stuff.
one. That's
Please
that's the
go
one.
and-
That one gets sold the most.
It does. People love the
That
tie-dye.
and
It's
the
beautiful.
goldenrod.
It's fun.
They like the goldenrod.
Yeah, no, it's fucking great. And then, of course, if you want to get some What's Up with Nora merch, it's whatsupwithnora.com. Go check it out. I still have, guys, I still have Mary Cultmas. And, of course, for all my Jews out there, you know, my wife is Jewish. Scientology, it's a lot to take. So, you know, listen, we're getting all the holidays. That was actually a viewer comment. I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. And my wife's like, you got to make that into a shirt. I said, I'm doing it. So get all the stuff. Come order it. It's still 15% off right now in the store through New Year's. And also, I have to pull up this comment here because it's for you and it's beautiful. And then we're going to go. But my next thing will be on Sunday with Miriam Francis at Against the Dark Arts. And of course, Fat Grammy, aka Mona. We're going to be talking about CCHR and a bunch of other things. But Angel said, I do want to say, Lara, your music has helped me so much through this year and was on my Spotify Wrapped as well. I love your music. There you go.
Thank you. Hell yes, and heck yes, and heaven yes. Woo!
That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're on the replay, thank you for being here with us through the whole replay. Lara and I are definitely going to get together again and talk about all of our secrets that we know about from all of the days. There's too many to tell in one stream, guys. Like literally, we'd be here for days. So I love you guys.
And Nora can't handle it. I could, but Nora can't.
No, yeah.
She
Also,
doesn't
my
smoke
wife
enough marijuana.
My wife would just unplug the internet, and I would be done.
Yeah. Out. You're out.
We're done. You're going to bed. All right, guys. I love you, and we'll see you all on the Flippity Dippity. Thank you, as always, to my mods for keeping this stream right and tight. Thank you for all of you viewing to know why we're here, what we're up against, what we keep fighting, and the truth that we're constantly trying to bring out here on this channel. Please go see my other videos. Click that link for my link tree, and I'll see you next time on the Flippity Dippity.